At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Warmer this afternoon than it was yesterday, but we're still below normal. A high temperature of 44 degrees with some high thin cloud cover, similar to yesterday. It will still be a cold night tonight. We drop down to 22, and tomorrow is partly cloudy with a high of 47, but noticeably warmer Sunday with highs in the mid-50s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 172 points to 44,392.
The slot turns it across. Oh, they'll score! And it gets knocked down again. Seth Jarvis from Aho to the front of the net. They score! Eric Robinson. Blake a sharp angle. Tarasov doesn't know where it is. He scores! Ugly taken away. Blake and the score! Sebastian Aho. Jarvis, he's got Martinuk. Jarvis, Martinuk. He scores! Settle it for Fabro, who will give away Natchez with a good stick out in front. Kotkaniemi, he scores!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I was going to kick my feet up during that intro and just take like extra 5 minutes before the show started because I knew we were going to play the goals from last night. And Kane scored a touchdown.
I didn't even get the empty netter, the extra point. I didn't even get that.
The 4th point for Seth Jarvis, first time in his career. That's Dennis Cox producing the show. I'm Tim Donnelly. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Canes are on a 4-game win streak. The win streak is fascinating as a whole. What the heck can you take away from a game like last night versus Columbus? Scored 7, but it wasn't like – that's like the 4th most crazy thing about the game. They scored the most goals they've scored this year. Hit 6 a couple times, never 7. That's maybe not even 4th. That might be 7th. First of all, the slow start thing. Right where you expected. They jump out in the first period down 2-0. Jackson Blake mishandles one. There's some sloppy play from guys on the blue line, and bada boom, bada bang, you're down 2-0. And of course, if you're like me, you're firing off tweets. They have to learn how to start fast. This whole you look up, it's 5-2. Canes take the lead. Boom. I felt like remember those old Athlete's Foot commercials with John Madden?
Tough actin' to actin'.
Boom. Tough actin' to actin'. Boom. 5 goals for the Canes. Jarvis, power play from Aho. How nice does that sound? Those 2 guys combining for a power play goal. Lovely. Robinson revenge game goal. Assist from Jarvis and Freddie Anderson, the goalie. I'm telling you, this game had it all. It had points for the goalie. It had Jackson Blake atoning for his earlier misplay with a goal from Aho, and then immediately pays it back and sets up Aho for a goal. Martinuk gets one. 5-2. And then, if you're like me, you're firing off tweets. All right, they can start slow as long as they promise to absolutely explode whenever they wake up, right? They can sleepwalk through the first period as long as they promise 5-2 in the second. Then back the other way. They give up 2 deflection goals. Columbus is back. It's 5-4. So all of the run they have, the run the Canes have, this, that, you end up in a 1-goal game over halfway through. Seth Jarvis, who we mentioned, contributed to a whole bunch of the action, talked after the game about the back-and-forth second period.
Yeah, it was great. It was kind of weird. I mean, you score 5, you let up 2, all of a sudden you're only up 1. So it's a lot of range of emotions, but I think we did a good job staying level-headed, knowing we played a good game and just kind of a couple lapses led to the goals.
Stayed level. I don't know how you stay level-headed in that one.
There was no level. It was either 11 or 1. There's no levels.
They kept their sea legs. I'll give them that. It was rocking back and forth, but they were old ship hands, right? They grew up on the water. They looked steady because you get up 5-4. Kokaniemi, who, suddenly is on a scoring tear. From Natchez, they get the insurance goal, puts you up 2. Then the empty netter that Dennis was talking about, Jarvis with the empty netter. His first career 4-point game. Seems like that should have happened already, but it hadn't, so 4 points for Jarvis.
It's a stark reminder of how young that guy still is.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Because you're like, nah, you give him like 5 years, he's going to have a couple of those things. It's like 5 years. Showed up much more recently, especially as a main contributor, much more recently than that. So the good news is, right, and like I said, I don't know how much you can actually take away from this one other than you learned how you are in a panic situation a little bit, right? When things get really crazy, when the waves are coming over the boat and you don't know which way is up, you found a way, so you can take some confidence in that. There was this is similarly how I thought. So as Dennis knows, and as I say often, I am a NFL draft. I fancy myself like a amateur on my own time, like Todd McShay or Mel Kiper. Like I'm like, oh well, in my rankings. So I'm watching film, and there's I think it was a wide receiver that I'm watching. I forget who it is, and you'll see why in a second. And they ran a flea flicker pass. And this player that I was watching was supposed to be the guy that made the throw. It's a low snap. It's a bad pitch. The ball is on the ground. He tries to pick it up. He kicks it. He finally scoops it up, and he pivots, reverses field, and picks up like 12 yards. Doesn't make a bad thing worse by trying to throw the pass. Just picks it up, gains 12 yards. And I went, he is really good in a panic situation. Wrote that down in my notes. Then I went back and crossed it out. You know why? Because ain't nobody going to build a career off of, how well does he react on a double reverse flea flicker pass after you kick it once? It's like it doesn't – you need to be – as a wide receiver, needs to be able to get open on a route and catch the ball. It's like, oh, you know what? We were going to cut him and put him on the practice squad, but he's so good when double reverse passes go poorly, right? So similar for the Canes. It's like, hey, you did such a good job after you scored the 5 straight, and then they didn't roll over and die and scored 2, and then you had to come back and score 2 more. It's like, well, that's great, but I don't know how many times you're going to have to, work on your, hey, we scored 5, and then they responded skills. So how much can you take away? I think it has to be trends, right? Even in the chaos of what happened last night against Columbus, there were still things that you saw. The slow start thing is real. They are on a 4-game win streak, okay, which is great, right? I can't tell you the breath of fresh air it feels like after so long. Every time you believed in a little momentum, they were faltering. They are on a 4-game win streak. Do you know what the score is in the first periods of that 4-game win streak?
Offers.
They're being outscored 4-0.
Goals for Canes, offers.
Yeah. 4-0. They have not scored a goal in the first period, which, it's 4-game win streak. We're not going to complain about it, right? So you're winning. So winning is winning, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that doesn't seem sustainable. You can't be getting outscored 4-0 and expecting to walk away undefeated, which is what has happened in the last 4. It's the gift and the curse, right? Part of me is like, hey, look at that. They don't get discouraged when they don't play well early. They stick to it. They've got some good old determination.
It's a blessing and a curse.
And then part of me is like, yeah, it's my favorite thing when people make a mistake and then say my bad. Right? My coach used to yell at us, I don't want your bad. I want you not to be bad. Like, I don't want you to be good at overcoming, or I want you to be good at overcoming bad starts. But I don't want you to have to do it every single game, which is kind of what you're doing here.
Don't make it a norm.
Don't make it a norm. And also, I mean, everybody was scoring. Like all the forwards, I guess I should say, were scoring last night. 7 goals, 6 different goal scorers. There still are those moments. It doesn't seem like it last night when the forwards don't have the pop, and I think that's why, even last night, right? Because like I said, I'm firing off overreaction tweets to every run in every direction. There's still, if you're on Kane's Twitter, you're seeing the trade conversations. And Frank Saravalli, Daily Faceoff, thinks the Hurricanes are being pretty active in that trade market.
I think the team right at the top of the list, Andy, is the Carolina Hurricanes. They have been more active, according to sources around the league, on the Miller front than just about any other team. For one, they've received permission to speak to Miller's representative directly, which in turn would lead us to believe that he's provided assurance to them that if this deal were to be consummated, that he would not stand in the way with the full no trade clause that he has. And beyond that, I believe they presented multiple iterations of different types of deals to the Vancouver Canucks in an effort to try and get something done. Does that mean it will happen? Not necessarily, because here's the kicker to this, Andy. League sources indicate that the Carolina Hurricanes have been one of the most active teams across the league over the last handful of days. They're working to try and bring in, I believe, a skilled forward, and it might not necessarily just be Miller. So keep an eye on the Hurricanes over the next few days as one of the most active teams.
One of the most active.
Go on. Tell me more.
We're all learning. Eric Tolsky as a GM is still relatively new. I think many of us I'm part of this. Many of us believed, because he was kind of the lieutenant to Don Waddell, that there would be a certain amount of similarity within how they operate, and obviously the owner Tom Dundon's still involved. I guess we don't know that for sure. Maybe we got wheeling dealing Eric Tolsky up there who's ready to make moves, ready to make waves. I still wouldn't expect it, but it's nice to know he's exploring, right? It's nice to know the calls, they're being included. JT Miller or otherwise. Now we really get to let our imagination run wild, because they made it sound like it wasn't just calls to Vancouver.
Yeah, Frank Saravalli also did say about when it comes to JT Miller, is like things have gotten quiet a little bit, which might mean things are actually inching closer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was the possible trade with the Rangers, and then that actually fell through.
Yep.
So it's like, whoa, okay, actually things got a little quiet. Things might be getting closer.
A lot of times quiet happens when everybody knows, don't mess this up. We're pretty much across the finish line. Don't rock the boat.
Don't say anything.
Keep your sea legs. Bringing it all back around. It's a Friday here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, and right here is Dennis Cox.
Folks, it's back, and it's better than ever. Who wants to win a custom Canales motorcycle? Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Canales motorcycle. Simple to win. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. By the way, you can see pictures of the bike right there on the site. Custom motorcycle, custom painted with the logos and colors of the Canes, white wall tires. It's absolutely gorgeous bike. I can't win it, but you can. Just go to caniacsbike.com to enter. There is a deadline. April 6th is when you have to sign up by. But hey, guess what? Don't wait. Take care of it right now. Go to caniacsbike.com. The bike's going to be given away on the last home game of the year, right there on the ice. Again, go to caniacsbike.com. Don't wait any longer. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. North Carolina Tar Heels basketball, it's been a rough week. Fans, everybody's getting a little frustrated. Tomorrow, Boston College. Is that just what the doctor ordered? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
They interviewed 17 candidates in Chicago. They really did leave no stone unturned in this search. They wanted to make sure that they spoke to as many people as possible. And Ben Johnson interviewed with other places too. The Jags, the Raiders, the Patriots. They mutually decided on one another. And I think this is a home run hire for the Chicago Bears.
Unsportsmanlike. Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, Greater Triangle area. Chick-fil-A wants to invite you to enjoy a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit or sandwich on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us through January 25th to get your reward for a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit from open to 10:30 a.m. or Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich from 10:30 to close by downloading and signing in to your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle area. Valid at participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurants only. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single use only. Limit 1 per person per Chick-fil-A One account. See further details in the app.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here at South Garner High School to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month. And that Scholar Athlete is Samayan Jones.
It means a lot to me because my parents, they want me to do well and make it in life, so this is for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
He's never trying to bring no negative energy, and I feel like that's what makes him a more productive teammate.
My teammates, they encourage me a lot because, I've been through injuries. They cheer me on because 2 games ago was my first time getting back on the court. So they cheer me on, encourage me every day. That's why I keep doing what I do.
He was always there in practice, just cheering us up and just carrying us on for practice, even though he wasn't playing. So that just shows what type of guy he is.
And then I have him in my class, so he's a great student as well. Just last week, one of his real good friends, he's like, Junior's just a good vibe, man. And that's what he is.
Congratulations, Samayan.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Rebound pulled in by Lubin. Here come the Tar Heels the other way. Oh, my goodness, Ian Jackson with a tomahawk in transition over the top of Salas.
I want you to remember, Tar Heels fans, what it felt like watching that play you just heard. Okay, the Ian Jackson dunk against Wake. Just remember that because it's going to be a part of my point here in a second. UNC basketball, here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. UNC basketball is playing Boston College tomorrow. They need to smack the heck out of Boston College tomorrow. This is not just get a win game. This is taking out the frustration of an entire fan base to annihilate Boston College. They need to take out the frustration of the players, of which I'm sure is immense. The coaches, of which I'm sure is immense. The fans, the former players, everything out on Boston College. It needs to be 40 minutes where it feels like how you felt watching Ian Jackson dunk versus Wake Forest. And not anything else that has to do with that Wake Forest game. Just that one, 7 seconds where you're like, is he timing his feet to jump in? Oh! That's what it needs to be. It's not just snapping a 2-game skid. I'm seeing a lot of that, right? Because obviously I'm perpetually online. I'm reading all of the previews and everything, and it's a lot of UNC on a 2-game skid. UNC has to fight back and stop this 2-game skid. It's not a 2-game skid. It's reversing a season of worries. Because there were, and we were there for the ride, fans were as well, there were so many things that looked shaky against the good teams they had in their non-conference schedule, right? When they played all of the ranked opponents that they played early in their season, there was a lot that made you go, ooh, don't like the way that looks, but you had the crutch of saying, yeah, that's against the top 25 team. Like, not everybody's going to have a big, like, Hunter Dickinson. Not everybody's going to have a big, like, da-da-da, right, all the way through. Then the last two games happened, the two-game skid. And you can't brush it off anymore. And now all those concerns become real, right? Because it's no longer, well, that just happens against good teams. Now it's something that has happened a whole bunch, and it's happened against good and not good teams. It's not 2 games of skid that they're looking to kind of wash themselves of. It's a season of worries becoming permanent. Right? It's that next move where you realize, oh, yeah, okay, gotcha. All of that wasn't a coincidence. All of that was real. They need to take out their frustration on Boston College. Boston College is second to last in the ACC. They give up a bunch of points and kind of outside of hand one of their guards. They have a really hard time scoring the ball. Part of me wants to encourage UNC to throw out the playbook. You shouldn't need great baseline inbounds calls to get open layups against Boston College. Go dunk on them. Drake Powell, I don't think there's anybody that can jump with you. Let's see. Ian Jackson, nobody can jump with you if you're jumping like you did in the dunk against Wake Forest. I can't emphasize this enough, especially for a program like North Carolina, where just playing there turns you into at least a B-level celebrity in the sports world, right? It's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys or the Yankees or something like that, where it's like, hey, if you want to be a broadcaster, it's better to be a role player with the Cowboys than it is to be like a legend with the Seahawks, because you'll end up just being more famous. Losing the former players is a big issue for a program like UNC. A lot of guys have podcasts. A lot of guys are guests on podcasts, and they are popular just by putting in the title, like former UNC Tar Heel, fill in the blank, talks about college basketball. Will get like 1 billion views. Just in the last 24 hours, scrolling through my social media, the algorithm's kicking me to Justin Jackson, to Raymond Felton, to Theo Pinson. I'm watching last night on TNT, Kenny Smith has confetti coming from the ceiling on TNT because Caleb Wilson, one of the top recruits we'll talk about later, commits to UNC. But here's the thing, right? There's Kenny Smith not screaming like, oh, here we go, national championship. Not screaming, here we go again. You know what he's screaming? We're back. You know what you have to do in order to be back? You have to leave. Theo Pinson talking about it's a leadership thing. Former players aren't happy. That's really tough for a program. That is an issue for a program, especially when they start becoming vocal. You want to lose the fan base, lose the former players. Because the former players, even if when they played, they turned the ball over, they fouled, they missed shots. But the further away they get from their career, the fans forget all that. They just remember, didn't he play in a Final Four? Those were the good old days. And the good stays and the bad fades. UNC needs to do something to get them back on their side. And this is a relatively new problem, but I've seen it happen. I've covered programs. When Justin Fuente was the head coach of Virginia Tech, I was covering Virginia Tech for the flagship radio station. And, we would almost stumble into it. We'd have a former player, I forget his last name. It was Ike. He was a secondary player, played in the NFL, we would have them on the show and not even trying to ask gotcha questions. They would just start talking about how the former players aren't happy and they're not happy with the access to the program and they're not celebrated and not included and all of this. And I went, ooh, that's no good. And I'm not saying that's the case with UNC, but I'm saying once athletes former that they care about, that the fan base cares about, starts talking negatively about the program, fans will pounce. Bad news complaints travel much faster than compliments, at least across social media. So UNC needs a highlight reel. Boston College is as good of a backdrop for a highlight reel as you'll find in the ACC this year, maybe outside of Miami, because Miami is perhaps historically bad. But that's as good of an opportunity as you're going to get if you're UNC. You don't want to be SportsCenter not top 10. You want to be SportsCenter top 10. And that there's pride in a program. Fans, former players, coaches, there's pride in your program putting out highlights. And there's embarrassment when your program's not playing well. I'll talk about it. When Delaware's not very good, it stinks for me. And I'm not anywhere near the players I mentioned as former players at UNC, but still, it stinks. And when they're playing well, like they did this past year, a couple of consecutive 9-win seasons moving up to the FBS, I get to brag. I didn't have anything to do with it, but it's good for the program, I promise you.
And it's also, when you look at the trickle-down effect of it, if former players are talking negatively about their program, which they don't want to do, but if they're doing it, well, if you don't like the state of the program, why would I give money? Yep. Why would I support? Why would I come to a game? Why would I watch?
Yep. All of that is yes. So don't just beat Boston College, beat the brakes off Boston College and give everybody something to talk about. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'll give you something to talk about right here. Tim Donnelly for DraftKings Sportsbook. We are in the thick of the playoff race. We have a couple of massive matchups this weekend, and touchdowns will help determine the outcome. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key. I call them 4-point plays, right? You're in field goal range, score the touchdown. Get that extra 4 points rather than the 3. Count by sevens. You too should be counting by sevens, right? If you're ready to place your first bet, try betting on something simple like a player to score 6, right? Take the PAT away, go for 2, whatever it is. Player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets as well. I'll tell you how in a second. If you're looking for somebody to bet on, just do this for me. It's a fun fact. It's a nice little discovery. Go look at Travis Kelce's playoff stats since their first Super Bowl. Actually, go back before their first Super Bowl that they've won. They are wild and crazy. The guy produces in big games. And new customers can produce $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5 by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app and using code TIMD at signup. That's TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we have the Dean's List. Again, I don't know how this keeps happening. There's a UNC Tar Heel on the Dean's List, despite the maybe anger that's surrounding their program. And we have a bunch of games to get to, including Duke at Wake Forest. Could be the biggest game of the weekend. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of a Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time, and the month of January marks the 45th anniversary of bold flavors, southern hospitality, and all of the timeless classics you get at Triangle Area Bojangles. In 1980, Triarch Food Systems, Inc. opened their first Bojangles in Selma, North Carolina, a welcoming place to come together and enjoy some made-from-scratch goodness. Here's to 45 years, and many more to come. Thank you, Selma. It's always bow time.
You know what you deserve? The joy of a remote start. SoundStation and Security can install remote start systems in your car. Start your car from inside your house while you eat breakfast, and it's all toasty warm by the time you get inside. Or on those hot summer days that are sure to come, start your car and get the air conditioning running so you don't sweat. A remote start system is an awesome treat, and you can get it at SoundStation and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Love baseball? You'll love this. The Durham Bulls are hiring for the 2025 baseball season for all kinds of part-time positions that let you be a part of the fun and excitement at DBAP. Come out to the 2 Durham Bulls job fairs Saturdays, January 25th and February 1st at the PNC Triangle Club inside Durham Bulls Athletic Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each date. Bring your enthusiasm and be ready for on-the-spot interviews. Step up to the plate and mark your calendars for January 25th and February 1st. We'll see you at the ballpark.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Bounces one inside. Cooper stole it. Cutting in front. A chance to run. All the way to the other end. A dunk of a lifetime. And he's fouled. My goodness. Cameron in a frenzy.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I still want to just say this. I don't think that's the dunk of Cooper Flagg's lifetime. I think he's going to have dunks that good a few times.
Well, it's his current lifetime.
Ooh. Before he's reincarnated? Is that what we're getting?
Yeah, okay. Of course. In the NBA.
He might have another one.
Might have one tomorrow.
I was going to say, there are occasionally you see him hunting for dunks, and if he gets another full head of steam like that, I wouldn't be the guy to jump underneath there and try to block the shot.
Nope.
But that's probably why I'm not a ACC level shot blocker. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to that game. Also, State SMU tomorrow. Some real college basketball action taking place tomorrow. But first, as always, about this time, it's time for the Dean's List. Class is in session, highlighting the good, the commendable, those that deserve praise in the college sports world, since we are here in the Mecca, the hub of just about all college sports in the Triangle. We'll start with this. I will have somebody from the UNC program on the Dean's List, but we'll end with that. I'm going to start with, Dennis, you're not going to like this.
I'm not?
The head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer.
Okay.
Shane Beamer signed a contract extension with South Carolina yesterday. It runs through 2030. He's going to be making $8.15 million per year.
Good on him.
First of all, good, like to see anybody get their money, chase dollars, great job. But I like that he's Frank Beamer's son and is doing his own thing in the industry at another school. And he's, the Virginia Tech job has opened up a few times when Beamer has been a candidate and to not do everything you can to get there and stay, I kind of respect it, right? And this was spurred on by yesterday we revealed the ACC's everyone's first game of the year, week 0 and week 1. They put out the schedule yesterday. We are expecting some schedule updates today on first conference games, but that's for later in the show. But the first game for South Carolina is South Carolina against Virginia Tech. And it's a Beamer against the school that Frank Beamer really brought to prominence at the early part of this century. And I just like that he's doing his own thing. If you want to follow in your dad's footsteps, that's cool. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I give him respect for doing it somewhere else. Different whole conference. Next up, 3 names. Oh, actually, one of these is from UNC, but this was one I was talking about earlier. Anthony Belton, offensive lineman from NC State. Tim McKay, offensive lineman from NC State. And Elijah Huzzy, a defensive back from North Carolina. Those 3 are on All-Star Game rosters.
Nice.
Belton, Reese's Senior Bowl. McKay and Huzzy at the East-West Shrine Bowl, which are draft showcases, right? You get a week of practice and a game to show the NFL what your skills are. And I just think, first of all, earning the invitation is cool. Second of all, accepting the invitation and going there to test yourself against the best of the best shows no fear and shows that you're confident in yourself, and I like it.
The Senior Bowl is vital for a lot of guys in the fact that you're getting coached by NFL teams, by NFL coaches, and a lot of them really want to see, okay, how do you react from one day to the next? How much did you learn? How much did you process and take in? That's a big tell for a lot of these teams. Like, okay, from day 1, you were okay, but day 3, you looked awesome, and you got such a better grasp on all the things we were teaching you. Oh, you're coachable, and you have the skill. That only helps.
And the other thing it is it's always good on good.
Yes.
Right? Like if say you are on a team where you're an NFL left tackle, but your right tackle is a injury replacement true freshman who needs to put on 30 pounds before he's as good as he's going to be. Now you're an NFL defensive end on the other team. Which side are you going to line up on all night? Not the future pro. You're right. You're going to line up on the other side. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of examples where, somebody's trying to make the NFL and they don't have the tape against good, top-level competitors just because why would you put the best defensive player against the best offensive player? Go put him against some other guy. When you're at the Senior Bowl, everybody's good, right? So if you're dominating one-on-one reps, if you're, moving I'm talking offensive line, if you're moving the defensive lineman, you're moving somebody that's legit. So it gives you a chance to show your stuff. And I just like when guys accept that challenge. I did see a handful of Notre Dame and Ohio State guys that were committed to showcase bowls backed out because their season was so long. I get it. But also as an NFL team, I would love the guy who walks off the national championship and is going, when can I play football again? That would just be, somebody that would fit into my locker room.
I feel great about playing football.
You're darn right you do, Dave Canales. Dave Canales would accept the invite. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Accept the invite. He's probably handwriting those things.
Well, I meant
handwriting invitations. I know what you mean.
I meant as a player, that guy.
Yeah.
He's the definition of it's actually I was trying to think who it was. Andrew Luck. Have you ever seen Andrew Luck mic'd up? Where he thanks the defenders for hitting him?
Hey, great hit.
Oh, what a great hit, big guy. Oh, that's a nice hit. After they just decleated him and planted him on his back, which probably lacerated a spleen. The guy always had major injuries, and he's on the ground that's a good clean hit, man. Oh, wow. Wait, hit, big boy. That's to me what I would think of Dave Canales at the Senior Bowl. Dean's List, last member. This is somebody that needed a good day. Hubert Davis.
Okay.
Caleb Wilson. That's a big-time commitment. Caleb, for those of you that don't know, Caleb Wilson, one of the top recruits in the country for next year, college basketball. Last night, TNT late. It was Kentucky. It was North Carolina. That's what all the predictions were, 50-50. He ends up committing to Carolina. And the reason why Hubert Davis makes the Dean's List is a quote from Caleb Wilson that I found in on an ESPN article announcing the commitment. Caleb Wilson said, "I love the passion and energy of Coach Hubert Davis. I know he will push me to be my best and love me at the same time. He is a truth teller. And that's what I want. We have watched film together. He tells me where I can be better. He is a man of faith, and we have a great connection. He plays his freshman, too. I plan to help UNC win and win big. Then hopefully I can have a chance to be one and done. There's a lot of things that coaches want to be their reputation in that paragraph from Caleb Wilson. Truth teller, can help me. He'll be tough on me, but love me. All of that. Hubert Davis is getting raked over the coals a bit based on the recent lack of success on the basketball court for UNC. He needed an off-the-court win, and he got one last night. And that's it for the Dean's List. It'll be a crowded Dean's List on Monday because there's a lot of college basketball, a lot of college news to be made over the weekend. So hopefully it'll be a crowded Dean's List. Hopefully there's a whole bunch of people that deserve to be commended. Perhaps someone from the NC State SMU game tomorrow. Now, here's where I say for full context, you can go check out the Pack Therapy podcast because last night after this show, recorded the podcast with Casey Morsell, who was obviously a key member of NC State's run to the Final Four last year. And there were a few things, just we're in conversation, right? We're hosting a podcast. You know how it goes. Talking about a team, and there were phrases that he used that I literally, like, through the breaks on the pod, I was like, all right, we have to dive into that. One of them was at the end of games, okay? State is not executing at a high enough level in one-possession games. Right? I think they've lost 4 of their last 5 one-possession games, something along those lines. And right, if you win 3 of them, it's a completely different season. The term he used was hero ball. At the end of games, he senses hero ball. And if you want the full context of what he meant, Pack Therapy, the podcast. But when he said it, it clicked with me as well because that's the vibe I get watching North Carolina State, watching NC State in the last moments of these close games is hero ball. Everybody, or not everybody, but more than one are Jimmy Chitwooding it. Right? Have you seen Hoosiers? I'll make the shot. Super dramatic. That only works because no one else was in the Hoosiers huddle saying, I'll make the shot. No, I'll make the shot. No, I'll make the shot. Well, once it hits my hands, you're not going to have a chance to make the shot. And I'm not saying it's nefarious or selfish. Sometimes it's well-intentioned, right? Sometimes it's, I want to do everything I can to help my team. Sometimes it's, if somebody's going to be blamed, I want it to be me, so put the game on my shoulders. Sometimes it's well-intentioned. Sometimes it is selfish, right? I want to be the star. Give me the ball. I waited my time. I work hard. Give me the ball. But whatever the motivation is, it's very rarely the right basketball play, right? Unless you're, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, whatever, then, yeah, you get to play hero ball. Get the ball. Everybody clears out. You get to ISO into a double team, and if you shoot a fadeaway and miss, nobody's going to be mad at you. But there's no LeBron, Kobe, Jordan on NC State this year. Right? The final possession, who should it go to? Whoever has the best shot. And you have to work to find it. You have to work to find the shot. Hero ball is not what this team can be about. The other thing, and this is more of just a conversation on college sports as a whole, Casey Morsell, who was a captain on the team last season, right? One of the leaders. Offhand, right, I asked him a question about State. Offhand, he goes, well, I don't know what the culture is like this year. And I went, wait a second. You have to, how do you not know what the culture is like this year? You were the leader of the culture last year. And I related it back to my playing career, which was in a bygone era of college sports, which was when I was a senior, I was making sure there were stewards of our culture that were going to be in the locker room the next year, right? I tell the story all the time about the redshirt freshman running back whose locker was next to mine my senior year. And it sounds corny, but I was kind of looking at him like, hey, man, you got 4 more years of this. I'm going to need you to not tear down this whole culture that we've worked so darn hard to build that got us to national championships and all these other things. I'm going to need you. I can guarantee you that because I was in the locker room, the seniors when I was a sophomore weren't, 1 year into their real job or 1 year into the NFL going, I have no idea what that locker room's like in Delaware, because they knew. But in this world, in the transfer world, in this era, Casey Morcell's like, well, shoot, the veterans on the team I only knew like 40% of, right? Because transfers are coming in as juniors and seniors, as tone setters, as culture setters, and there's little carryover. The fact that he could even say, like, I don't know fully the culture blew my mind, but it just shows that we shouldn't treat this team like last year's team, right? We shouldn't treat this team like, well, they are slow starters. It's like we don't know if this team is a slow starter. We know last year had the secret sauce to stay motivated and stay confident through the ups and downs. We don't know if this team has it. We know that Casey Morcell, who, by the way, we did talk about it. He's like, I would have loved to play on this team. And my thought went right to, like, yeah, you'd get 10 more shots if you were on the team this year than last year. I'm sure you want to. He was talking about just style of play and things. But, again, listen to the pod. My point being, we know that Casey Morcell would not take those 10 extra shots a game because they were better suited going into the post to DJ Burns and letting him pass out of it to open shots. We don't know that about this year's team. So hero ball becomes much more concerning. And SMU is solid, right? Like, this is not a pushover game, but I will throw this out there. Looking at NC State's schedule over the last couple of weeks, I almost don't care how good their opponent is. If their opponent is a 9 out of 10, they're going to play 9 out of 10 basketball for the first 38 minutes. And then it's going to come down to who executes better in the last two. If the team they're playing is a 4 out of 10, they're going to play like 4 out of 10 basketball until the last 2 minutes, right? For the first half and 18 minutes into the second half, they're going to play to the level of their competition. It'll be a one-possession game. They've had a week off. They haven't played since last Saturday. They play tomorrow against SMU. We'll see if anything is different. I firmly believe this one will be close. And we'll see if they've fixed anything in their late game execution. And check out the Pack Therapy podcast. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The other game, and this might be I would say top 2 biggest game for both teams on the rest of their schedule. Duke at Wake Forest tomorrow. If you want to say 3, if you really want to argue it, fine. Top 3 biggest games of the remaining schedule for both Duke and Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest kind of explains itself, right? Because you're playing a top 2 team in the country. But even for Duke has only one ranked team left on their schedule, right? Because they've already played Louisville, and no one else in the ACC is ranked. They have one non-conference game against Illinois, who's currently ranked 17th, but they've lost 3 of their last 4, and they got rolled by unranked Maryland last night. So who knows how long that'll last. There's a good chance Duke will not play another ranked opponent until the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So when they have a game that even semi-resembles a tough game, a ranked game, it becomes massively important. And Wake Forest is one of that second tier in the ACC, right? 1 loss in conference, 15-4 overall, and it's at the Joel. It's in Winston-Salem, which is a place where Wake Forest. I mean, what do we say? Like if their average is 100, they're like 120 at home and 80 on the road this year. In years
for Wake?
Yeah. In years past, it's been like they're 190 at home and 10 on the road. But not as big of a discrepancy this year, but still, they're better at home. So you're getting one of the best teams in the ACC on their home court. This is about as big a game as Duke's going to have the rest of the year, which is kind of crazy. Outside of and a separate category like UNC and NC State, right? Those games are big for a different reason. If you change the jerseys and change the player names, I don't know if those teams scare Duke as much this year, but they will get full attention and full energy because of what and who they are.
By the way, it's 8 days of Tobacco Road for Duke because obviously they have Wake tomorrow, State on Monday, then on Saturday next week it's home against Carolina.
It's the biggest stretch as far as like intensity and energy and exhaustion remaining on their season. So John Shire has to have the boys ready if they want to win, the players ready. Wake Forest, on the other hand, As I said, they're 15-4, 7-1 in the ACC, 6-game conference win streak. Their best conference start, you could argue, at least since 04-05. 6-game win streak. That's a long ACC win streak for them. Yet, only 2 votes in the top 25 for the AP. One of the last teams mentioned in also receiving votes. How do you earn respect if you're on like the best start you've had in decades and you're still barely receiving votes? I'll tell you how you earn respect, Wake. Give Duke a run. Beat Duke if you want to get real crazy. But darn sure, show well against Duke tomorrow, then beat Louisville on Tuesday. Because this is the toughest stretch of your season. Then I think they have Pitt coming up soon. So both of these teams are looking to start what you could argue is the most important and most vital and most opportunistic, I don't know if that's the word, the most filled with opportunity 3-game stretch of the rest of their season.
Yeah, Duke at Wake, as we just said. Wake at Louisville, then home against Pitt.
There you go. You win 2 of those 3 and look good in the third, you're a top 25 basketball team.
Pushing for it, yeah.
And you're second in the ACC. It's a good spot to be at this point in the season. From a matchup standpoint, now that we've established the stakes, I think this game is hilarious. Because there's 2 things that you want when you're heading into like postseason play in college basketball. You want talent and you want experience. Each of these teams has one of those 2 in ridiculous fashion. You want to hear a crazy stat? Wake's top 5 leading scorers, Wake Forest's top 5 leading scorers and per game combined for 506 career games played in college basketball. 506 career games played. At a bunch of different sports, some at Gonzaga, some at the JUCO level, some at App State, and a bunch at Wake. 506. They average over 100 games played. They're 5 leading scorers. Duke's top 5 leading scorers have played 155 career games. And 86 of them come from Tyrese Proctor. 18 games for Malawash, 18 games for Knipple, 18 games for Flagg. They're going up against guys that have played 130. So Wake, experience advantage. Talent advantage, that's going to go Duke at just about every position.
And Wake's not going to be scared playing at home against Duke. They beat them on their home floor last year.
Different team, but they've beaten the Jersey.
Yeah, different team. But for them, it's like, okay, it's Duke rolling in here. Okay.
Oh, you beat a first-round draft pick? Yeah, we did that last year.
Yeah, Filipowski.
McCain was the first
McCain
round.
was, yeah.
Filipowski, second-rounder. What a disappointment.
How dare.
ESPN's NBA draft big board, they put out a top 100. Duke has number 1, 6, 8, 47, 51, 56. Wake has number 67. And that's it. So on one side, you have 6 NBA prospects higher than anyone on Wake. On the other side, you have 506 games played for the top 5 leading scorers at Wake. You have 155 for the top 5 leading scorers at Duke. I'm not saying Duke has no experience because obviously like Sion James and things, they do have players that have played a lot.
Gillis, yeah.
They do have players that have played a lot, just not their main scorers. And I'm not saying Wake has no talent because you look at Efton Reed, Hunter Salas, these were 5-star recruits prior to transferring and everything else in the way their careers have gone. So it's not like there's zeros on either side, but there's an obvious advantage for each of these teams. Shire, meaning the head coach of Duke, has talked about Wake and maybe them being better than the eye would say.
You know, they've had a really good season. You know, you can't pay attention to metrics sometimes. You know, the metrics would make you think that they're not as good as they are, let's put it that way, because of margin of victory and all that stuff, when in reality they're undefeated with Johnson in the lineup. They have a dynamic scorer in Salas. Hildreth is playing really good basketball. They're big, they're physical, and they make you really work on offense. And so it's going to be a tough game, great environment. Those are the games you want to be in, you know, and fortunately for our team, we've seen a lot of great environments this year. And this is the next step for us to do it against a really good team, well-coached team, in a hostile environment, like with great opportunity, great challenge.
2 parts responding to that. One, I do think John Shire twisted himself into a pretzel there at the beginning where he's like, they're much better than, and then he went into like, now I'm about to reveal that advanced analytics don't like this team. They're much, better than the analytics would show. Like, is that a compliment? And then he kind of overhyped it because he, got to be respectful to your opponent. The second thing is he brought up the environment. I think that's a big part of this game, right? The as I mentioned, Flagg, Malawash, Isaiah Evans, one of their top 5 leading scorers off the bench. They've never really played in super raucous away college environments. Well, you need to learn that, even if, the ACC tournament, the NCAA tournament are technically neutral. You never know what kind of environment you're walking into. You never know, when you're going to be matched up in the West bracket against UCLA, right? You never know when that's going to happen, and you don't want to be unprepared for it. So the Joel will get rocking.
Yeah, you had Kentucky and Kansas on neutral sites, and you had Auburn at home.
I mean, that's what they went to Arizona.
They did go to Arizona. They did go to Arizona,
and I'm not saying they have no experience,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just saying you want more of that. I think that's a big part for Duke. Try to face it's such a hard thing to say. Try to face some adversity sounds stupid, but go out there seeking adversity, but you got to know how to deal with it. Right? There's a viral clip going around of John Shire at halftime of their last game going like, we're not going to be up 30-15 every game. And then sure enough, they came out in the second half and won by 25. So
yeah, you're right, Coach. It's going to be 40-15.
Yeah. But it is true. Like, you have to challenge your team some way, and when you get that opportunity, you have to take advantage of it.
Should be a fun one.
Wake Forest is not going to back down, I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'll tell you this much as well. If you're into watches, if you're into timepieces, Bailey's Fine Jewelry is the place to go. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and specifically the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop in their Village District location and the Omega Boutique. If you listen long enough, I am a massive fan of Omega watches. If you are wearing one around me, I'm going to ask questions about it. I want to know, how'd you pick that dial? I want to know, why'd you go with the Speedmaster instead of the Seamaster? I want to know everything about it, because I think the watch you wear, especially when it's something that comes with the quality and the precision and everything that goes into an Omega watch, I think it says a lot about you. Right? And usually it means you're somebody I want to hang out with. So Bailey's has the largest Omega shop-in-shop in the country, which means a massive assortment of options to help you choose exactly the timepiece that says exactly what you want it to say about you on your wrist. Go ahead and check them out. Put them on your wrist. See how it feels. Talk to the staff. It's a cool experience. It's all happening at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, their Village District location in Raleigh, specifically in the Omega Boutique, which is on the left side of the store. We're going to take a break. When we come back, football NFL awards with a Panthers spin. Stick around.
Listen for the "Did he just do that?"
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The get that out of here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.
Well, with all these new scratch-offs, this place is going to be packed with new winners. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this wall down. This is where we're putting the polo field. Whoa, patience, Trixie.
This month's tickets are loaded with $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.31 to 4.55. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 1/13 through 1/24. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. While supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
If you love designer brands and you love clearance, then you're going to love this. Macy's is having a huge designer clearance event right now with incredible new designer markdowns on cold weather styles from BCBG, Hugo Boss, Michael Kors, and more. How big are the markdowns? How about Coach boots for $200 or less? So if you're looking for the things you love all in one place, come in and shop the designer clearance event at Macy's today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage as a service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Just some high, thin cloud cover out there. Our winds gradually start to shift to southerly. We'll be a bit warmer this afternoon with mid-40s. That's still a bit below normal. And it is cold tonight. Overnight low 22 degrees. For Saturday, a high of 47 and partly cloudy, but even warmer Sunday with highs in the mid-50s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 140 points to 44,424.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. We tried to get this on the show like 3 times yesterday, but news kept breaking. People kept stopping in. We didn't get it in. So yesterday, the NFL awards nominees came out. We're talking MVP, Player of the Year awards, Coach of the Year awards. And needless to say, no Panthers made any of the nominations. They put out 5 names for Comeback Player of the Year, MVP, Offensive, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Offensive and Defensive, Coach of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, nobody from Carolina. So what we thought we'd do is we'd divide up the responsibility. The way this is going to work is I'm going to give my choice out of the options for the NFL award based on the nominations that they put out. I'll pick the winner. And then I'll present nominees for the Panthers version of that award to Dennis, and he will have to choose out of the nominees that I've chosen. So
On the spot, by the way.
On the spot, but, I mean, if you want to go off nomination, you can tell me why my nominees were incorrect and then pick out of my nominees. And we can argue. We'll scrap. It's a Friday. Let's go. Starting with, I'm going to start here because it's the worst award in the history of awards. Comeback Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. It's the worst award because I don't know what they're awarding. The nominees are Joe Burrow, who was hurt last year for like the second half of the year. Sam Darnold, who I think is just coming back from not playing well.
From being a backup.
Yeah, from
San Francisco.
Teams not wanting to pay him money. J.K. Dobbins, who came back from multiple near career-ending leg injuries.
Okay, that makes sense.
Christian Gonzalez, who was hurt, and DeMar Hamlin, who came back from a horrendous, terrifying situation in which he had to be revived on the field 2 years ago.
Yeah, cardiac arrest in 2022.
Didn't win last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's continuing to be back after coming back last year almost gets you on the
Is it coming back from not winning the Comeback of the Player of the Year award the year before when he should have? Okay.
So this is a terrible nominee list, but also I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm picking J.K. Dobbins.
Okay.
Because I think he was the knee injuries, the Achilles injuries for a running back to then come back and be successful. He was given $50,000 guaranteed by the Chargers. That's the best deal he could get.
Wow.
That's all that was guaranteed. And he ended up being their starting running back for most of the season on a playoff team.
Yeah, I think he ran for like $180 against the Panthers in week 2.
So J.K. Dobbins is my pick for Comeback Player of the Year. For the Panthers, this will be an equally confusing list.
Okay.
Bryce Young came back from, similar to Sam Darnold, came back from like benching and not wanting it there.
So Comeback Player of the Year from the middle of the season?
Yes.
Okay.
Starting like week 9, whatever it was.
All right.
J.C. Horn only played 6 games last year, so coming back from an injury.
Yeah.
Caleb Farley, who is coming back from being cut after being a first-round pick to be like a solid special teams contributor. And Ike Ekwonu, who similarly just came back from a down year last year. There's not a lot of options here. I had to stretch. So which one are you going with, Dennis?
I'm going to go with J.C. Horn because of the injuries that he's dealt with in his career and the fact that he played 15 games this past year. He probably could have pushed through those last couple games. It was like, you know what? We're out of things. Let's hold this guy back. To me, I'll go J.C. Horn. That's a no-brainer for me.
We'll go MVP next. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Saquon Barkley are the nominees. Burrow, Goff, and Barkley, we appreciate you for attending, but don't worry about writing an acceptance speech. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going Lamar. It's a regular season award, which I think is important. I think it'll actually make Lamar's offseason more annoying because people will be so mad that he won the MVP and then didn't play well and turned the ball over against Buffalo in the postseason. But I think it's Lamar. For the Panthers, the options are, and you can ask me if you want any stat updates.
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard, Robert Hunt, Xavier Woods, or Josie Jewell. If you want stat updates, I have them.
Xavier Woods should be nowhere near an MVP conversation.
119 tackles and 3 interceptions.
Should be nowhere near an MVP conversation. Count as missed tackles. They're just as high as his actual tackles.
119 is a lot for a safety.
It's because no one up front.
Yeah.
Josie Jewell just didn't play enough.
97 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and a pick.
He was good late in the year, but again, missed a chunk of time for a multitude of reasons. I've really loved Robert Hunt a lot. I thought he was fantastic this season. But Chuba Hubbard was the heart and soul of the team this year.
All right.
I'll give it to Chuba.
250 carries, 1,195 yards, 10 touchdowns on the ground, 43 catches, 171 yards and a touchdown. And Robert Hunt, you get credit for that too as a
He was phenomenal.
Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. I feel dumb not going Lamar Jackson, but that doesn't seem to be the way this.
Yeah. Hey, you can be MVP, but no, you're not Offensive Player of the Year.
How is Josh Allen not on the Offensive Player of the Year finalist? Makes no sense to me.
Again, these NFL awards are so dumb.
So I'm going with the one that's not in the MVP nominees. Give me Jamar Chase, the Triple Crown. Right? I know everyone's going to go. Everyone's going to go Saquon, but Saquon didn't lead the league in rushing touchdowns. Right? Jamar Chase led it in receiving, receptions, and receiving touchdowns. So compared to his peers, he had the better season. So go ahead and give me Jamar Chase. For the Panthers, it's Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard, Robert Hunt, Adam Thielen.
I'm not going to go Thielen because he was hurt for so long this year.
A lot of these are tough to come up with 4 or 5 nominees for the Panthers.
Offensive Player of the Year. Do I got to go Chuba Hubbard again? I really do because, again, Bryce was benched for 6 weeks or whatever it was.
I think that's the right answer.
Again, as strong as he finished the year, I'm not going to give him a season-long award for 5 weeks of really good play.
I'm with you. Defensive Player of the Year, the nominees NFL-wide are Zach Bond, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Patrick Surtain, and T.J. Watt.
One's guaranteed.
I'm going Bond. This dude did it all.
Mm-hmm.
151 tackles, 93 solo, which is
for the Denver Broncos.
No, for the Eagles.
Eagles. I'm sorry. Yes.
Boatload of tackles, 3.5 sacks, 11 tackles for a loss, 4 passes defensed, 1 interception, 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery for the 3rd best defense in the league. That's a complete resume right there.
Yeah, that's doing it all.
That's that. And Myles Garrett with sacks, Trey Hendrickson with sacks, Surtain with basically not being tested, T.J. Watt with pressure advanced analytics. Like everybody had one thing. Bond kind of had it all. For the Panthers, we have Xavier Woods, Josie Jewell, already established their stats.
Yep.
A'Shawn Robinson, 5.5 sacks, 80 tackles, or J.C. Horn, who kind of has some of that, like, not a ton of stats, but that's because not many people were testing him style stuff going on. So those are your options.
For Defensive Player of the Year. Again, Xavier Woods should not be anywhere near a Player of the Year.
119 tackles,
nope,
man.
I do not care. Your stat padding late in games. Again, Josie Jewell just missed too much time. I actually really do like A'Shawn Robinson, but I'm not going to go J.C. Horn on this one. He's the only Pro Bowler.
All those sounds you hear Dennis making, that was me making the nominee list.
That's
as
I got to go J.C. Horn on this one.
As fun as the season ended for the Panthers, when you really think about it, it's like there's not many award-worthy performances here.
Gosh.
We'll crank through the Rookie of the Years here very quickly. Brock Bowers, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Bo Nix, Brian Thomas. It's Jaden Daniels.
That's all you gotta say.
There's no arguments there. For the Panthers, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jatavian Sanders, Jonathan Brooks are the 4 nominees. Well, you don't like 9 carries for 22 yards getting a nominee? There weren't a lot of rookies.
Rookie of the Year, yeah.
There weren't a lot of rookies, so those are your options. If you want any stats, let me know.
So Legette, Coker, Sanders,
Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks. Well, obviously not going to be Brooks.
Brooks had 3 catches for 23 yards.
I mean, he had a great 4 plays.
There you go.
I might go Jalen Coker on this one.
That's fair.
I think I'm going to go Jalen Coker on this one. I really am because
less touchdowns, but higher yards per catch.
Higher yards per catch. Also led the team in yards after the catch, if I remember correctly, this year. And also just sure hands.
I don't believe either reached 500 yards receiving. So
something like that, yeah.
Not the most prolific race there. Defensive Player of the Year, Cooper DeJean, Brandon Fiske, Quinyon Mitchell, Chop Robinson, Jared Verse. I'm going with Verse, edge rusher from the Rams. He's advanced analytics, love him. I know he didn't have a lot of sacks, but he's really good. Florida State guy. For the Panthers, this one's more competitive. Shaw Smith-Wade.
Yeah.
Damani Richardson.
Yep.
Trevin Wallace. Or Xavier Legette. There's really not that many options.
Jaden Crumedy on defense?
Legette had more, or Crumedy did have, a half sack.
Yeah.
Legette had 2 tackles, both solo.
There you go.
Both solo. So I threw him in there.
Put him at safety. He'll catch just as well. So, yeah, Damani Richardson. I'm probably going to have to go Trevin Wallace on this one just because when Shaq Thompson got hurt early in the year, the way he stepped in. Shaw Smith-Wade came on strong late in the year, but he was actually a healthy extra early on in the season when Troy Hill was still there. And they worked his way into being that slot corner. Damani Richardson was on the practice squad to start the year and then eventually became the starter late in the year. But I'm probably going to go Trevin Wallace on this one, even though everyone had kind of incomplete seasons.
Yep.
But I like the trajectory of those young guys. I do like their trajectory. Again, a lot more has got to be done on the defense, but I'll take Trevin Wallace, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, Andy Reid. I'm going Kevin O'Connell. If you do such a good coaching job that your quarterback gets a Comeback Player of the Year nomination without anything to come back from, and your team is 14-3, you get a nod from me. The Minnesota Vikings head coach. Obviously, the head coach of the year is going to be Canales. No competition. Assistant coach of the year. I'm not going to read all of the nominees, but Detroit's offensive coordinator Ben Johnson wins, the new head coach for Chicago. He called an end around pass with his right tackle as the guy getting the end around in the pass.
He did.
And he had the number 1 scoring offense. So that's my guy. For the Panthers, we'll go assistant coach of the year. This will be the last one.
All right.
Offensive coordinator Brad Idzik for the work with Bryce Young. Assistant head coach, run game coordinator Harold Goodwin, because the run game was pretty good. Quarterbacks coach Will Harriger for the work with Bryce Young. Or game management coordinator George Lee, because he had a first-time head coach and there weren't a ton of timeout blunders.
I would actually go Joe Gilbert, offensive line coach.
That's fair.
The way that offensive line played this season, I'm going to go Joe Gilbert, offensive line coach. So I'm going to give a write-in vote here.
He was not on the list because he was given to, really good guards.
But here's something he did do, though. Austin Corbett never played center.
There was a lot of shuffling at center.
Never played center. Brady Christensen never played center. Yet all 3 of those guys snapped the ball this year, and there wasn't a drop in play. I got to give Gilbert a lot of credit on that one.
Solid justification from Dennis Cox. That's NFL awards and a little Panthers spin on it for you here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We do have our ladder challenge coming up, setting you up for a weekend of potential gambling. And before we get there, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook, locking your touchdown picks, check out trending parlays, and increase your winnings with Profit Boost. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win, and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We mentioned the ladder challenge. That's coming up. And also, did UNC men's basketball change the trajectory of their program last night? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
They interviewed 17 candidates in Chicago. They really did leave no stone unturned in this search. They wanted to make sure that they spoke to as many people as possible. And Ben Johnson interviewed with other places too. The Jags, the Raiders, the Patriots. They mutually decided on one another. And I think this is a home run hire for the Chicago Bears.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Let us explain. If you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct today and decide in the future you want to upgrade to a larger diamond, Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. For example, let's say you bought her a $5,000 diamond last year, but now she wants to upgrade to a $6,000 diamond. Diamonds Direct will give you $5,500 toward the new one. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Whether that first diamond was $3,000 or $30,000, you get 10% more. Who else does this? And unlike other stores who claim to offer diamond upgrades, at Diamonds Direct, there's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Come and discover real value and buy with confidence. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 1/13 through 1/24. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. While supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Barry Kotkaniemi will wave this one in. Tarasov will settle it for Fabro, who will give away Natchez with a good stick out in front. Kotkaniemi scores! The Canes take advantage of the turnover. And yes, Barry Kotkaniemi's got 4 goals in the last 3 games, and it's 6-4 Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you watched the Canes game last night, that was not a hallucination. There actually was a How did I should have looked it up. From first goal to fifth goal, how many actual game minutes was it for the Canes? It felt like 2.5.
It was like 12.
Yeah, felt quicker than that. It was crazy.
I think the last three goals, 3, 4, and 5, was over a span of 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. It was fireworks. Really, really fun. Canes ended up winning 7-4.
So last night I do some work with FanDuel Sports Network, doing some social media stuff, and I was posting goal clips, and I get done posting one, I look up like they scored again. And I post that next clip, and I'm like, wait, when did the next goal happen? It was just constantly, just nonstop.
There's hold on, they scored again.
I'm like, guys, just slow down.
Take a break.
For a minute, please.
Take a break.
My computer's being like, what are you doing?
But at the same time, it was a really fun game. I don't think there's much about it other than getting so many guys involved scoring that you want to replicate, right? You don't want every game to be 7-4, but I mean, a win is a win is a win, and it's 4 straight for the Canes. Building off of winning streaks, it's important, and that's essentially what we try to do with the Ladder Challenge. So let's go ahead and fire it up. The way the Ladder Challenge works, at the beginning of the month, we started with $10, Dennis and I, and then we began a competition. You have to pick a bet every single day that is likely to win. We call it -500 to -1,000 odds for the gamblers out there. And if you win, you take the full stake, the payout, all of it, you roll it over and do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. If you lose, if a bet goes haywire and you don't get it, you start back over at $10. Whoever has the most money when the month is up is the winner. Dennis, did you win last night?
Yeah, I had the Canes and Blue Jackets at plus or more than 3.5 goals scored, or over 3.5 goals, I should say. So, yeah, I'd say I nailed that one.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I did know that. That's hilarious, actually. I also won. So how much money are you up to?
I'm up to $50.80.
And I'm up to $39.11. And again, we started with $10. I got it wrong once. I don't believe you've been wrong in the month of January.
I missed early in the month.
So we've both put in 20 total. I'm up to essentially 40. You're up to over 50. So if you tailed, you're up a decent amount this month. Just letting you know. Dennis, as the leader, you get to lead off. Go ahead and let us know your bet for the weekend.
So I'm actually going to go back to over/under alternate goal totals here.
Okay, I thought you were going to go back to shots on goal.
No. I'm gonna stick with this one here because I have Vegas taking on Dallas in the NHL tonight. The Golden Knights on the road at the Stars. Over 3.5 goals scored. It's a -700, so that $50.80 will turn into a total of $50. I'm sorry, yeah, the $50.80 will turn into $58.
Wow. So you're getting to the point now where the likely to win, the small percentages are adding up here. Mine last night, I had LeBron James 15 or more points versus the Celtics. He had 20. Lakers won easily. It was a no-sweat win. So I'm up to $39.11. This weekend, I'm going with Travis Kelce, 40 or more receiving yards versus Buffalo. My phone thought I was asking it a question.
Oh, okay. Well, your phone clearly agrees.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, 40 or more receiving yards versus Buffalo. It's -572, so it's near the, that end of our window. I went back and found the playoff games that Travis Kelce has played in the last few years. Last week, in their first one of this year, he had 117 yards. Last year, on their way to the Super Bowl, he had 93, 116, 75, 71. In 2022, 81, 78, 98. 2021, 95, 96, 108. 2020, 133, 118, 109. You have to go back to before their first of 3 Super Bowls to find a game where he didn't have at least 70 receiving yards. Travis Kelce, and you can say, in the regular season he's not. The dude shows up in the biggest games, and more importantly, Patrick Mahomes looks to him in the biggest games. So I actually struggled here between going for over in receptions and receiving yards, but I figured 40. He has one of those weird winding runs where for some reason nobody can tackle him after the catch. You can get 40 on the first drive. So I just went 40 or more receiving yards for Travis Kelce versus Buffalo. If that hits, I'll be up to $45.94. And hopefully on Monday we'll have that full $45.94 to roll into the next bet. That's what we're looking at with the ladder challenge. So if you're tailing us, we've been doing pretty good. We're going to try to keep doing pretty good for you as we move forward. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, as we transition out of the ladder challenge. Hubert Davis, the head coach of UNC, and UNC basketball as a whole. I rewrote this headline or this little intro, right? The intro was going to be, had an unbelievably great night last night. And then I went, you know what? No. Backspace. And I took out unbelievably. And do you know what I added? A necessary great night last night. I could have been much needed, right? It could have been quintessential. It was an important great night last night. But it was needed. On TNT, right, which is the NBA NBA on TNT. It's Shaq and Chuck and Kenny Smith and Ernie, very famous studio. Everybody loves them. On that show, sitting between those four, one of the biggest recruits in the country, college basketball recruits, committed to his college destination and chose Carolina. And with that, right, he did the little like a Superman reveal where he kind of peeled back his top layer, and he had the T-shirt of North Carolina underneath.
Okay, respect that.
As he does it, Carolina blue confetti from the sky. Kenny Smith is yelling, "We're back." Can't buy that advertising. I don't even know how much it would cost, but it would be expensive to own that much time on that studio NBA show that many people watch. And it just turned into an infomercial for UNC, right? Caleb Wilson, who's the recruit, talking glowingly about his future school. Kenny Smith talking glowingly about his school, yelling, "We're back," right? Trying to change the narrative of their season. And gosh, was it necessary for UNC. And if you don't think it's necessary, go read a message board. Go check out our YouTube comments. Go talk to a UNC fan. There are a lot of people pretty upset with a lot of people in that program. And a great recruiting class is great for job security. If you ain't winning, or if you're not winning to the level that your bosses and fan base expect, you better have a reason that they should have hope for the future. You better have the just wait. Just wait. Do you know what? Actually, this was really funny. I played high school basketball, nothing particularly well. But then I went to college, right? Playing football, came back, needed a place to work out when I was back in my hometown, went to the high school locker room or high school weight room, bumped into my old basketball coach. He was coaching the team. And the team, this was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years after I got out, was not very good, the basketball team. So I was like, come on, man, what's going on? Like, what's happening with the program? And he told me that since I left, he had taken over 6th, 7th, and 8th grade gym class. He was a PE teacher. And I should just wait for this 6th grade class. That's what he told me. He goes, yeah, we're not great now, but I've got some players in 6th grade. Just wait till they get up to the high school level.
Give it 5 years.
I'm like, 6th grade? I'm going to be in the real world. I'm going to be able to come back and use the weight room. And like, what? I'm not coming back to watch high school. 6th grade? But guess what? If I walked around that program, because I again, in the weight room, I bumped into another guy, and I was like, hey, basketball team's not doing great. He was like, yeah, but, coach is already talking about this 6th grade class. I'm going like, he really has everyone in this building sold that these 11-year-olds are the future of the program. They're putting up with a bad season now in good spirits because the 6th grade class looks good. In a weird way, college coaches do the same thing. We might not be winning now, but have you seen 247 Sports rankings for our recruiting class? Hoo boy, we got a point guard coming in, going to fix everything. According to 247 Sports, Caleb Wilson, the player that committed to UNC on TNT last night, since 247 Sports started ranking recruits, he is the 5th best recruit to ever sign with UNC. I don't know how they came up with the recruiting rankings from a billion years ago, but on the list the 247 all-time UNC recruits list, like Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, like the ones from before the internet were all there. So I don't know how they got those, but they weren't ranked as high, according to 247 Sports, as Caleb Wilson was. He is the 5th highest ranked recruit in UNC history, according to 247 Sports. Harrison Barnes 1, Cole Anthony 2, Nasir Little 3, Brandon Wright 4, Caleb Wilson 5. That's hope. That is just wait till so-and-so gets here. Just wait till you see my 6th grade class. That's what that is for a lot of people in that program. Enjoy it. I saw some, how about this, UNC fans talking trash to other schools on Twitter today, which has not happened at least in a week. They've been
taking it.
They've been in defense mode. They've been just, warding off shots, trying to block them and dodge them. They were throwing shots because Caleb Wilson chose UNC. Now here comes the cold glass of water to the face. Still not a solution. Because do you know what else I learned on that all-time UNC recruits list? I was there to see which recruits Caleb Wilson was above. I learned that 3 of the top 13 ranked recruits in UNC history, according to 247 Sports, I keep saying that so you can go argue with them. 3 of the top 13 in UNC history are on this year's team. Ian Jackson, Elliot Cadeau, and Drake Powell are numbers 8, 9, and 13 in 247 Sports history of UNC recruits, highest ranked. So bringing in another highly ranked player like Caleb Wilson doesn't necessarily guarantee success, just like Ian Jackson, Elliot Cadeau, and Drake Powell haven't guaranteed success this year. So having the great recruit doesn't guarantee anything, but it does give hope. And they were in desperate need of it. Now they just got to destroy Boston College tomorrow, build off of that hope, right? Put 2, 3, 4 good things together, and maybe then you'll start seeing a changing of the tides. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, I know we floated this on air. This is us doing like radio show prep live on air. What were we going to call it? Like Jack Wagon of the Day or something?
The Jack Wagon Award.
Okay.
The Jake Gensel Jack Wagon Award.
I wasn't. This isn't even on our rundown today, but I have a winner. During the last commercial break, I don't know how this popped up on whatever I was looking at. In California, there is a high school basketball coach that is going to be our Jack Wagon of the Day, or win our Jack Wagon Award. Brothers Dylan and Nicholas Kachakian, and I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly, had a historic night on the court for Mesrobian High School. The final score in the game, this was last night, by the way, was 119-25. Nicholas Kachakian scored 102 points on 48 of 60 shooting, while Dylan Kachakian dished out 35 assists and finished with a triple-double despite not scoring at all.
35 assists?
35 assists.
Triple-double, didn't even score.
Did not score because they were too busy feeding his brother to score 102 points. I don't blame the players because they're high schoolers and they do what they're told, and it was probably really fun for them. That coach should be ashamed. Do you know what the score was at halftime? 79-zip.
Ooh.
If the score at halftime is 79-0, no individual player should score 102.
No.
Max Preps reported that Nick, the guy that scored 102 points, has received a scholarship from High Point University, an offer.
Okay.
So he might be coming our way. I'm not holding it against the player. Obviously, he has some shot-making ability. Even on air, 48 of 60 is pretty darn impressive.
Probably mostly layups, I'm guessing.
I would assume, but I didn't watch. All I know is, and this happens like once every 3 or 4 years, Coach, call off the dogs. You don't have to win by 80. 50 is safe. It's
50 is safe.
Like if you're up 79-0 at half, running clock that bad boy, get out. You're not getting anything from it. They're not getting anything from it. Go schedule a better team next year. That's all I got to say. The coach.
Jake Gensel is just a jackwagon.
As is the Mesrobian High School basketball coach. You want to know what's funny? The old school record was 100 points. According to this Bleacher Report article I read,
okay,
he's now an assistant coach.
Huh.
What is this school just having guys gun for schedule different opponents?
My assumption is the team that they beat is probably in their conference.
I hope
you have to play them.
Yeah, you don't have to beat them 119-25. The drive, and by the way, like I enjoy a blowout, and I am of the like if you don't want them to score, don't let them score. But you don't score 102 without gunning for it. Once you score 60, you get to spend the rest of the game on the bench.
Well, yeah, but it's also like I'm sure you have number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on your bench. Play those guys.
Yes. Can I don't know. Or go Hoosiers. Got to pass it 35 times before you shoot. Do something. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get to something more fun to talk about. NFL playoffs on Sunday, Conference Championship Week. Washington at Philly, Buffalo at Kansas City. Let's break it down. Let's start with Washington at Philly. Washington, house money. I don't know if we've had a more house money team in a while. They are so far ahead of schedule. They are so far already a massive success of a season. Making it to the Super Bowl just becomes gravy. Just becomes icing. Becomes a bonus. Jaden Daniels is the story. We've never seen a rookie quarterback perform the way he has in the postseason. There's only like 5 or 6 rookie quarterbacks that have ever even played in a conference championship game. It's like the Mark Sanchez, the Joe Flacco's, Ben Roethlisberger. Do you know what they all have in common?
Great defenses?
Their defenses were all top 2 or 3 in the entire league. Do you know what Jaden Daniels' defense was this year?
Not that.
18th, and yet he still made it. That's unbelievable. So Jaden Daniels, can he keep the magic alive? I'm going to tune in to find out. Philly, do you know what I think Philly has going on? I get the feeling they're kind of playing for their future. I get the feeling they're kind of playing for the future of their core. A.J. Brown has 3 catches for 24 yards in 2 playoff games combined. Devontae Smith has 8 catches for 76 yards in 2 playoff games combined, which is fine as long as you're winning, right? As long as you're going to get a Super Bowl ring, add to my legacy, then yeah, I'll take a backseat. It's a lot less fine if you lose to a division opponent with a rookie quarterback to end your season in the conference championship. Then all of a sudden it's, why did I only have 3 catches? Why wasn't I featured? Why is Saquon the only one everybody's talking about? I do think that Philly has a lot of drama bubbling, and as long as they keep winning, they'll keep it on simmer. But if they lose, that boil could get pretty darn hot. And by the way, Jalen Hurts, I don't know if he's healthy or not. He doesn't look healthy in some of the videos I'm seeing from practice. Can he be effective? And can Saquon and the run game make it? So who cares if he's effective? Buffalo at Kansas City. This one's different. I'm looking forward to it. Similarly to Buffalo, Baltimore last week. It's just 2 quarterbacks vying for a place in like this generation. Mahomes, obviously the one everyone's chasing. Here's my question. Are you a fan of legendary greatness or are you a hater? If you're, I'm talking to non-Buffalo, non-Kansas City fans, and also like non-fans of people. Like if you're a Patriots fan and you're rooting against Buffalo, that makes 100% sense. I know why you're doing it. If you're a Broncos fan, you're rooting against Kansas City. Yep, absolutely. You hate those colors. I'm with it. But if you are a true, innocent, completely objective, unbiased bystander in this one, it seems like everyone's rooting for Buffalo. And why? When did we not appreciate greatness? A three-peat?
Did you see Mahomes flopping this weekend? That's why.
Josh Allen does the exact same thing.
I know, but
exact same
yeah,
thing.
but you know what? A lot of people are sick and tired of the Mahomes stuff and all those kinds of things. Like, come on, dude.
If you have like a three-peat is so outlandish. It's like I want to say every three-peat that we've ever seen has been like the country's team just because they're good, right? The Bulls are from Chicago, but when they went for a three-peat, everybody was like, this is awesome. There's a whole generation of kids my age that were Bulls fans for like 6 years, and nobody made an argument about it, right? If you go anywhere in the country, you're going to see like Yankees. I don't even know however many three-peats there's been. The Celtics, I'm sure, back in the 60s had a bunch of fans. This one happens, everybody's hating on it. And by the way, I'm not saying it's happened, but I'm saying it could happen. And if you hate Kansas City for a reason, like, you know, your team has a rivalry, whatever, that's fine. I'm not saying you should change it to appreciate, you should, like, you know, bail on your team. But I'm saying if you can see a three-peat and you're going to hate on that, I don't get it. Appreciate greatness. What do you think is more likely to happen when you're 80 years old, you're on a rocker, and somebody comes up to you blinking on your, like, you know, somebody calls you on your contact lens that you have a video chat on. I don't know what the future is going to look like. And they say, what was it like seeing? Do you think it's more likely to be like Mahomes, one of the 2 or 3 greatest quarterbacks of all time, depending on how it goes from here, winning a three-peat, or Hey, that one time Buffalo got that crazy random championship. The three-peat. Greatness. I don't have a horse in the race. I do not pretend to be a fan of either of these. But if you give me the chance to see a three-peat, if you give me a chance to see something we've literally never seen at any NFL ever era, I'm leaning that. So I hope Kansas City pulls it off.
But I think it's the underdog story of the team that's been fighting to take down that title. Like, because all the times that the Buffalo Bills and Chiefs have faced off in the playoffs over the last few years, and Buffalo just hasn't been able to get over the hump, just hasn't been able to push through it. Can this be the time? I think people are rooting because it's that underdog type story. People root for the underdog.
I do hear that. I have a hard time treating this Buffalo team like an underdog.
I mean, look at history. Look at recent history of these two teams against each other.
Losing doesn't mean you're an underdog.
Like, in this situation, it does.
I mean, they're 1.5 point dogs, if we're being.
And then sure, Vegas, whatever.
And they haven't.
We're going off history.
They have an MVP, either first or runner-up on the team.
Cool, good. They still haven't beaten the Chiefs. That's what people want.
George Mason running to the Final Four. This is Kentucky, who hasn't won in a while. It
ain't Kentucky. They haven't won anything. Bills haven't won anything.
Okay,
this ain't Kentucky.
It's let me think of it like a. I'm trying to think of the perfect metaphor here. It's an SEC team. We'll go with SEC's a bad one. We'll go with Minnesota against Ohio State. Is everyone rooting for Minnesota there? Minnesota was a bad one as well.
Yeah,
somebody with more brand name, like Colorado, I guess, would have been the move with Shador. It's like you got the Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter. You have a superstar, and you're not going to be looked at as the scrappy little engine that could against anybody. I don't know. If you think Buffalo is the true underdog and they're the easy to root for little engine Rocky story, then yeah, I get that. But that's not the way I look at them. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to real bold predictions, and we'll have some from that game, here's Dennis Cox. Go ahead and turn your mic on.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. It's back, folks. It's your chance to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. And I tell you, it's better than ever. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. It's simple to enter. Just go to caniacsbike.com. caniacsbike.com. Just go there, enter in to win. That's it. It's really that simple. You can actually see pics of the bike right there on the site. Again, it's a custom-built motorcycle built by Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, whom I actually bought my motorcycle from actually about 10 months ago. Great group of people over there. I love my bike. You're going to love this one as well. And it's custom painted by Shiny Side Paint. Logos and colors of the Carolina Hurricanes are on there. White wall tires. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Deadline is April 6th. But don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. It's going to be, yes, go to caniacsbike.com. Bike will be given away on the last game of the year. Don't wait, folks. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, gets to real, bold predictions. Next.
All playoff roads lead to New Orleans.
Playoff football, baby.
The Wild Cards, the championship games, presented by First Horizon Bank and Wake Med, will be heard here.
It's Barkley running to the left. Barkley gets by everybody. Saquon Barkley is gone. Touchdown. 28-15. Philly.
The Triangle's home for Super Bowl 59. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here at South Garner High School to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month. And that Scholar Athlete is Samayan Jones.
It means a lot to me because my parents, they want me to do well and make it in life, so this is for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
He's never trying to bring no negative energy, and I feel like that's what makes him a more productive teammate.
My teammates, they encourage me a lot because, I've been through injuries. They cheer me on because 2 games ago was my first time getting back on the court. So they cheer me on, encourage me every day. That's why I keep doing what I do.
He was always there in practice, just cheering us up and just carrying us on for practice, even though he wasn't playing. So that just shows what type of guy he is.
And then I have him in my class, so he's a great student as well. Just last week, one of his real good friends, he's like, Junior's just a good vibe, man. And that's what he is.
Congratulations, Samayan.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Refeeds Taylor high left, pump fake, slices in 2 pounds, bodies into the lane, layups up and in, and the foul. Taylor slithers to the basket and scores.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Text keyword, as you can hear right now, Wheezy, Lil Wayne. Text keyword music, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Wayne, to see Lil Wayne with special guests Quavo and Anella at the Lenovo Center on March 15th. That is keyword music to 919-860-5326 to see Lil Wayne. If he were to play exclusively 2007 to 2013 hits, that might be my favorite concert. He has also been putting out music long before that and long after that, so you'll get a little bit of everything. But there was a special phase of my life where Lil Wayne would have been #1 on my end-of-year wrapped stuff for a while. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for Real Bold Predictions. I will make a prediction that I think is bold, many of them, and you will either hear the bold enough bell or the not bold enough buzzer. If you hear the buzzer, I'll have to make it bolder on the spot until we hear the bell. The only place in sports media with a checks and balances system that makes sure our bold predictions are bold. We'll get it started here in a minute. Dennis is working hard behind the glass here, and although we do sometimes make it seem like the bell and buzzer are some kind of AI or machine learning that tells us whether it's bold or not, it's really actually Dennis making the call. So, Dennis, are we ready to get started? Here we go. Canes at Islanders tomorrow. I'm thinking this. I'm thinking Shane Gostisbehere scores a goal. Dad strength. He had his son yesterday.
Yeah, we found out why he wasn't at morning skate.
We sat here and we prognosticated about a lower leg injury, giving him the rest. Maybe he doesn't have the. His wife was having a baby.
Yeah, congrats.
And then you bring the dad strength, and Seth Jarvis, his teammate after the game, talked about Gostisbehere showing up and playing after having his son that day.
He's a daddy now, so you could tell he had that strength in him, and it was impressive that he kind of came in. He had Chipotle before the game, and you couldn't even tell.
Look at that. I don't know what the Chipotle had to do with anything, but
say, hey guys, I'm here.
Hey, let me
chow down on this burrito.
Crush this burrito bowl, and then we'll go out there and play. But I think first goal as a dad, I think is gonna come for him at the Islanders tomorrow.
Super cool moment for them.
Canes Good thing they won, first of all.
Of
I mean,
course.
If you're going to, like, hey, my son is just born. See, I got to go warm up. You better win the game. And they did. I always think of Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson with the Rams was they won the game. He's out there celebrating in the confetti. Someone comes up to him and goes,
The Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, the Super Bowl in 2021, whatever that was. And someone ran up to him and said, your wife just went into labor. He won a Super Bowl, saw the confetti, sprints off the field, straight to the hospital, has a kid. I'm going like, that. You know what? Your entire life is downhill from there. That's about as good a day as you will ever have. Enjoy it. And yesterday was probably pretty darn good for Goss to Spear as well. How about this for a Canes bold prediction? I'm not even sure I want to say it. But now that I've done that, I have to say it or else you all be left hanging. Scott Morrow, one of their top defenseman prospects, does not end the season in the Canes organization. He's just, it's very obvious when in every single kind of proposed package you see from insiders, there's like, oh, that's the piece that everybody wants if they're going to give up something good. And to get something good, a lot of times you have to give up something good. So it's a bold prediction. It might not be likely, but if the Canes are going to make the big splash move that I want them to make, Morrow might have to be included.
That's a massive piece.
It is. And it's what the Canes never do, which is why it's bold.
Young right shot defenseman that can move the puck.
It's what the Canes never do, which is why it's bold. Duke at Wake Forest tomorrow. Hunter Salas of Wake Forest leads all scorers in the game. Hunter Salas leads all scorers in the game, and Efton Reed leads all rebounders in the game. These are Wake Forest players playing against the number 2 team in the country, Duke. All right. I think Wake Forest, or I will save our picks, but Hunter Salas and Efton Reed they're experienced, they're veteran, they'll show up to play, and there's a good chance Steve Forbes is not going to sub him out forever. Against UNC, he played 5 guys in the second half. They just never came out. So I don't know. He's got it in his bag of tricks. UNC at Boston College tomorrow. We'll go Ian Jackson scores 20+. We'll go Ian Jackson scores 23 or more. How high are you going to make me go? 25 or more? All right. He's been a little quiet as of late. Still a really good player. And I think he's due to get back on that 20+ per game little run that he was on not long ago. NC State versus SMU, another ACC basketball game tomorrow. Yes, SMU, ACC basketball. One day that will seem normal. How about Jaden Taylor, 3 or more threes? NC State was 1 for 10 from 3 in their last game. Now I'm saying one individual player, I'll go 4 or more threes. I think they're almost like cycling back. If I were like by the way, I'm the least musical person on the planet, so this is not a real scenario. But if I were like a choir teacher and you're looking for the soloist and you go through every kid in the class and none of them can sing and you go back to the first, like, all right, let's see let's go. It's like opening the refrigerator, not seeing any food, closing the refrigerator, opening it back up. I feel like State has given everybody like a shot at being like the main usage leading scorer guy. Marcus Hill has probably done the best with it, but I think they're going to cycle back and be like, all right, Jaden Taylor, let's open the fridge back up, see what you got. So it'll be a big Jaden Taylor usage game is my thought. In the NFL, 2 big games on Sunday, conference championships, starting with the NFC championship, Washington at Philly. Jaden Taylor, Jaden Daniels. Yeah, a lot of Jadens going on here.
If Jaden Taylor shows up.
Jaden Taylor scores 4 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels runs for a touchdown. What the heck was that?
I hit the wrong one. Runs for a touchdown, buzzer.
I don't know. The
bell. That's why I really gave you all the buzzers.
It seems like the actual mechanism, the machine learning that tells us whether it's bold or not bold.
This is not AI over
has
here. I'll tell you that.
Overruled you. The robots are taking over. Runs for a touch. I'll say it counts for 3 touchdowns, including rushing for 1. I think he's I mean, at the very least, he's going to leave it all on the field, right? There's nothing to lose. So if they get ahead, it's largely because Jaden Daniels is having a great day. If they fall behind, that just encourages Cliff Kingsbury to empty the clip, right? See what Daniels can do. So either way, I think it leads to a big stat day for Daniels. Whether it's a win or not, you'll have to stick around until we make our picks at the end of the show. Buffalo at Kansas City. Josh Allen, 2+ turnovers. Did you see the crazy eyes in the Ravens game? He was down on the goal line. I think it was a quarterback sneak. And he ended up, like, you know, as you're pushing and fighting for yards, he ended up back to the way he was trying to go, like back towards the end zone he was trying to score in. And James Cook, his running back, was kind of like, I don't know, 5 yards away.
Hey, pitch it here.
And you saw Josh Allen's eyes go, oh, I could do it. And then he went, no. You know, kind of like the here comes the putter throw. Oh, wait. Is it a new Happy Gilmore? It was no. Oh, wait. Is it a new Josh Allen? That just tells me the gremlin in there that tells him to do crazy stuff is still in there somewhere. And I actually thought of this. Do you remember? It might have been like the play of the year. I think it was a pass to Amari Cooper. Short pass down on the goal line, and then Cooper ended up flipping it back to Josh Allen, who caught the pitch and dove into the end zone.
Yeah, credit for a touchdown catch.
Yeah, it was a 2-yard passing yards, and then he got a reception. Like, it was a weird stat thing for fantasy. I don't know why I would end up breaking out. But when it happened, I went, that's awesome. That's incredible. And then the next thought was like, that might be really bad for Buffalo. Because that's like a non-3-point shooter hitting his first 2 threes like in the first minute of the game. And you're like, oh, he's going to finish 2 for 12, isn't he? He hit 2, and now he's confident he's going to finish 2 for 12. Sometimes those crazy ad-lib plays working just encourages you to get crazier, and then it ends up blowing up in your face in a big moment. Similar to, I think it was against Texas. Reggie Bush tried a lateral, and it went to nobody, and that ended up I think it was against Texas.
It was Texas in the national championship
the Vince Young game. What people don't realize is Reggie Bush had made a couple laterals earlier in his career that we played on SportsCenter 1,000 times. It was like the coolest thing in the world, right? The unexpected downfield lateral. So, of course he did it in the national championship. He thought it was going to be the coolest play in the world, ended up maybe costing them a national championship. Josh Allen. If Kansas City's going to win the game, I think Josh Allen has to make at least one frenzied kind of like, let's ad-lib this hook shot, and it has to go poorly. So 2+ was just kind of a way to make it bold. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, it's time to talk a little Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. We've been talking about this a little bit as well. My wife is due to have our next child, our little baby girl, in about 3 weeks from now. That's one of those things. Timing is everything, right? You want it to happen during a slow time of the work. You want it to happen when you're financially ready. You want it to happen when you have the space in the house. You want it to happen. You can't always pick the timing, right? People say you're never ready, but you get ready for something like that. Same is true for finding a mortgage. You'd like to do it when rates are low. You'd like to do it when you have plenty of time for the move. You'd like to do it when you can wait and wait and wait for the perfect house in the perfect market in the perfect neighborhood in the perfect school district. But you can't always wait, right? Sometimes you need a bigger house because you're having a baby. Sometimes you need to move closer to home, a new job, whatever it is. Miller Lending can help. Their no closing cost loan makes the timing matter just a little bit less. Right? If the market is high right now, rather than finding a way and forcing yourself to rent or do something you don't want to do, get a no closing cost loan. That way, if rates drop, when they drop, you can refinance, no cost, no fees, zero means zero, no third-party fees, no cash out of your pocket. You'll get the lower rate then, and you'll already be in the house of your dreams. Just like we're looking forward to, no matter what happens next with the baby girl on the way, you can look forward to whatever happens next in your life without worrying about interest rates. Give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377 for Miller Lending, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We have the starting five coming up next. There are 3 massive triangle basketball games this weekend. The NFL playoffs, the Canes at the Islanders. It's an action-packed starting five coming up.
Move your sports day forward.
Carolina's administration was pretty shrewd in putting together Bill Belichick's contract, which, by the way, he signed. Basically, they're saying, we're going to pay for some publicity. We're going to give you $350,000 if you take us to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Essentially, $350,000 to let everyone see mayo get dumped on your head, Coach.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to stop what you're doing and join with the K-Yow Cancer Fund in the fight against all cancers affecting women. Now through February 1st, Triangle Area Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to the K-Yow Cancer Fund. Just buy a Bowberry biscuit. You'll be doing some good and getting something good. So what are you waiting for? Hurry, it's bow time.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Love baseball? You'll love this. The Durham Bulls are hiring for the 2025 baseball season for all kinds of part-time positions that let you be a part of the fun and excitement at DBAP. Come out to the 2 Durham Bulls job fairs Saturdays, January 25th and February 1st at the PNC Triangle Club inside Durham Bulls Athletic Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each date. Bring your enthusiasm and be ready for on-the-spot interviews. Step up to the plate and mark your calendars for January 25th and February 1st. We'll see you at the ballpark.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRL meteorologist Mike Mays. We had a warmer afternoon. More of that snow has melted. Tonight, clear and cold. It's a hard freeze, 22 the low. Tomorrow, it's mostly sunny. It's even milder, 48. Even milder on Sunday, the high up to about 54.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 140 points to 44,424.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, this is the first day in a long time. I'm fairly certain, Dennis, spot check me here, that there's really no local play-by-play going on tonight. So it's a Friday where we all get to catch our breath a little bit before a go Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, all right, just chill.
Feels like we've been going since like August. where there's always been something, and now we have a Friday night to relax a little. But like we said, this weekend it will kick into overdrive. Speaking of overdrive, coming up about an hour right here on 99.9 The Fan. Starting right now, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mahomes in the gun, receivers in tight. He gets the knee-high shotgun snap, and he's grabbed, and he throws as he's being tackled, and it was caught in the end zone by Kelsey. What a grab by Kelsey.
The NFL playoffs this weekend. Sunday, starting with Washington at Philly. Then there will be Buffalo at Kansas City. Actually, let's ask this question. Because, we're sports radio, and on a Friday, we can kick into a sports radio trope.
Okay.
Legacy. Who has the most on the line this weekend?
I hate legacy.
That's why I said it. I prefaced it with, hey, it's a Friday. We can go down the middle here a little bit.
Sure. Not Mahomes because he's already won 2 Super Bowls. So fine, the Buffalo Bills.
You don't think it's somebody like, I don't know, the Eagles?
No.
No, actually, here's the argument for Mahomes on that conversation. Up to this point, I'm fairly certain everything that Patrick Mahomes has done, Tom Brady did first. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that's the conversation that Mahomes is trying to enter from a legacy standpoint. This would be the first thing. Going 3 for 3, doing three in a row, seems like the first thing that Mahomes has done that Brady wouldn't have already done prior to, right? All right, we won 2 in a row. Did it. All right, we won 3. Did it. All right, I was an MVP. Did it. All right, I was a 2-time MVP. Did it. All right, I threw for 50 touchdowns. Did it. Like everything he had done, Brady had done. 3-peat would be the thing that gives him at least an argument. Also, Josh Allen, I think, would likely be the answer there because he hasn't had an MVP, he doesn't have a Super Bowl. Everything else he's kind of done. So getting to the Super Bowl would check off one of those bucket list items for him. Jaden Daniels has already turned in like the best rookie season for a quarterback, at least in a very long time, if not ever. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting 5 is underway. That was number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Dennis, are we good?
I just had someone randomly call in. All right, full disclosure here. The phone blinks.
Okay.
Phone line blinks.
All right.
And I answer the phone, thinking it might be like someone wanting to weigh in on the show or offer something along those lines, because sometimes I take those off air.
Yep.
They're asking, hey, want to check on the status of an application? I'm like, you've reached a radio stadio. They're like, I think that's on me. I was like, that's totally fine.
All right.
It happens. And believe it or not, it happens more than you think.
Next time, just put them through.
Threw me off.
Just put them through and give me the heads up, and I'll just go on air. We decided to just do the interview right now. We want to take you to a second interview. Tell us about yourself. We'll see how it goes.
That would be messed up, but that'd be fun.
It would be messed up. That's like old shock jockey radio back in the day where it was like,
oh, yeah,
we're going to call you and tell you you're fired and see how you react on air. How funny would that be? We're going to pretend ruin your life. SMU.
Refeeds Taylor high left. Pump fake. Slices in 2 pounds. Bodies into the lane. Layups up and in and the foul. Taylor slithers to the basket and scores.
NC State versus SMU tomorrow. All right, here's the deal. This is where the NC State program is. And shortly here, we'll have a new episode of Pack Therapy posted everywhere podcasts can be found. It's our podcast about state basketball, co-hosted by myself and Casey Morcell. You'll also be able to find it on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. Here's where NC State has fallen. Talking with Casey on the pod, at one point he said, at this point, State just has to worry about making the tournament. Guess what had to happen in the next sentence? We had to clarify if he was talking about the NCAA tournament or the ACC tournament, and he was talking about the ACC tournament. Since they added SMU, who they're playing tomorrow, Cal, and Stanford, the ACC did not add slots in their ACC tournament bracket. So not everybody is going to make the ACC tournament this year. And somebody that knows that program, knows Kevin Keatts as well as anybody, was a part of that program as a player, as a leader last season, is like, no, they got to worry about making the NCAA play-in game, which is the ACC tournament, right? It's not even they got to worry about making the NCAA tournament. They've been there. It's about making the ACC tournament just so you have a chance, a 1% possibility to go on the run that they went on last year. And do you know what's crazy? They've lost 5 of their last 6. They've lost their last 3. I'm going to give you their next 3 games. SMU is solid. Okay, we'll call them like middle class in the ACC. Then Duke, at Duke, then Clemson at home.
That ain't easy.
You better win against SMU because Duke is going to be real tough and Clemson's going to be not as, but still really tough. If you don't pull out 2 of those, really tough to make the ACC tournament. If you don't win any, you'll be on a 6-game losing streak. You'll have lost, 8 of your last 9. This is one of those games we talk about. I always say by any means necessary, beg, borrow, and steal. Dennis usually throws in by hook or by crook. Whatever you got to do. I'll go back to one of my basketball coaches in high school. I'll never forget it. And actually, it's a Jason Kidd joke as well. One time we were at a timeout, and we were, like 4 guys had fouled out, and our coach goes, hey, if you guys need a break, I'll tell my nephew to run on the court. He had like a 3-year-old nephew watching in the stands. He was like, I'll tell my nephew to run on the court. That can buy you like 20 seconds, right? I'll do whatever I can to get you guys a breather, but I'm going to need you to play hard. Like, we have to press. I'll do everything I can for you. And then Jason Kidd similarly needed a timeout, didn't have one. So he was carrying like a cup. I think it had like Coke or soda in it or something like that. And he's walking by a player, and you can read his lips. He goes, hit me. And then they bump into each other, and he throws his cup on the ground. So they have to come and mop it up, and it gets him like a makeshift timeout. You can go find it on YouTube. It's hilarious. I'm not saying cheat, but I am saying by any means necessary, you have to get a win against SMU tomorrow.
Hey, lie, cheat, and steal. Just be honest about
it. Yeah. If you must lie, never mind. That is, what was that, number 4? Let's jump to number 3.
No good. Long rebound, Cadeau. Touch pass to Jackson in transition. Big step through and finish from the right side.
UNC, Boston College, tomorrow. I've used this real world example before. I'll use it one more time. I once saw a boyfriend and girlfriend, one of my buddies and his girlfriend, break up over ketchup. One of them believed that ketchup should be kept refrigerated. One of them believed that ketchup should not be refrigerated, should be kept in the pantry. They argued, they yelled and screamed about this ketchup, and they broke up. And by the way, I was playing video games with his roommate, so of course we couldn't leave. We sat there through the whole thing. You know what we learned about halfway through the argument? It had nothing to do with ketchup. The words were about ketchup, but the argument wasn't about ketchup, right? They had some things that were in their relationship that weren't going well, and the ketchup ended up being like, we broke up over ketchup, but it wasn't really. UNC has to beat the heck out of Boston College tomorrow, and it has nothing to do with Boston College. Like, it's the Wake Forest game that gets UNC all mad, right? It's the Stanford game that gets UNC all mad. It's the reaction from their fans that gets UNC all mad. It's the fact that people think they can't win with the way their roster is constructed that gets UNC all mad, and then they go argue with Boston College. This should be one of those games. It should be. And I will judge them on if it is or not. This should be one of those games where Boston College is like, geez, what got into them? What did we do? Did you say something to them? Who talked trash about them in the media? Who was it that got them all riled up? And you realize it had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with the ketchup. This was arguing about something else. UNC has not been good recently. Right? And I said it earlier. It's not about stopping a 2-game losing streak. Right? They lost to Stanford, shouldn't have lost. They lost to Wake, shouldn't have lost. It's not about stopping a 2-game losing streak where you shouldn't be losing games. It's about turning your season around, right? Because the 2-game losing streak that they just went on, Stanford and Wake, it confirmed things that we were already worried about. right? It's the third thing you find missing. You get home, say you get home and you open your apartment, right? And you go, that's weird. I can't find my laptop. What do you think? Oh, I probably left it at work, right? Then you keep walking and you're like, wait, this is weird. Didn't we have... Hey, did you take the expensive coffee maker off the counter? Man, that's weird. We're really misplacing things. Then you sit down and see the TV's not there, and you're like, oh, we were robbed, right? That third thing is I didn't leave my laptop at home. I knew I left it on the kitchen table. Now it's a problem. Now we were robbed. That's what happened in the Stanford and Wake Forest games, right? You don't win your non-conference big glitzy matchups because you don't have any size down low or you're getting bullied or whatever it is. It's like, ooh, that's weird. We're going to have to fix this, but at least it's not a permanent problem. Then you struggle with some maybe not super tough opponents, but you win the game. So it's like, all right, that's weird. We're kind of not playing at our best. And then you lost to Stanford and Wake Forest back-to-back in the manner that you did, and we all went, oh. No, those aren't coincidences. There's something bad that happened here. You were robbed, right? It's like, oh, no, that's what just happened. So it made everything else real, right? It made every other concern real. It made the concerns, the worries, the questions we had about R.J. Davis's shooting early in the season real. It made the questions, concerns about Jalen Washington and Withers being your two main bigs real. Which, by the way, that's the R.J. Davis thing is going to ruin me for future analysis. And here's what I mean by that. Like 5 games into the year, I was texting my buddies that know basketball better than I do. Like, how long should I wait before I get worried about a good shooter not shooting well? Because, like, my instinct is there's something wrong here. And all of them, right? Basketball people that know basketball better than I said, oh, not even close, not yet. No, don't overreact. Don't be one of those media people that overreact. So I tried to temper it, right? I tried to rein it back in. Well, guess what? There was something wrong with R.J. Davis. He's not shooting as well as he did last year. And my gut instinct was right. So next year, somebody's going to not play well the first, 4 games. And I'm going to go, same feeling. I know it. This guy's fried. He's not going to be the same shooter he was last year. And then he's going to turn it around and he's going to hit 10 of his next 12. And I'm going to be completely out on a limb looking foolish. But that's what happened with UNC. Number 3 on the starting 5 just wrapped up. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Too strong. The rebound for Foster. Looking to push the pace. Fob on 4. Foster to the right. Cooper to the corner. Knipple again. Why not? Timeout Miami. 12 straight.
Knipple's really ridden the roller coaster. Con Knipple for Duke. He had 25 one game, 0 the next. That's a streaky shooter, if you will. Duke was able to weather the storm, though, because other guys stepped up. Isaiah Evans off the bench. Tyrese Proctor had a season high with 20 in the game that Con Knipple had 0. And that's kind of I would say that's the difference between this year's Duke team and last year's Duke team. Actually, let me correct myself. 1, attitude. I do think they are just a more fiery bunch. I think they whine less, and I think that's why I've seen multiple people that aren't Duke fans go like, this is kind of one of the likable Duke teams, which is people hate saying. I remember the Zion years. People were like, why did they have to, the Zion year. People were like, gosh, Duke is likable. This is tough. This year's team kind of that way because they don't whine like last year's team. But also the difference is they really couldn't afford last season for McCain or Filipowski to not have a good day. This year, they have a little bit more depth of guys that can step up and be that player. Even Tyrese Proctor, who was on the team last year, seems better at it this year, which is what you want to see year over year. So that's the difference. This game tomorrow at Wake Forest for Duke, it's an all-hands-on-deck game. You're gonna need everybody. Wake Forest is deep enough and talented enough at all 5 spots that you can't really have a weak link out there. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Cameron Hildreth, who had a 30 spot a couple nights ago, had a 20 spot a couple games ago. Whether it's Hunter Salas, who we know, I mean, he went on 7-8 game, 20 or more scoring streak. Efton Reed, who was a 5-star recruit. They've got some dudes.
I think this is going to be a test for Kama Malawash, the center for Duke. He hasn't played someone like Efton Reed really yet. Someone who's equally as tall, but physically just bigger.
Yep.
Kama Malawash should be a senior in high school as well. I think we forget that. But Efton Reed is just 4
Flag
years.
too.
Yeah. Efton Reed's just 4 years into college. He's 21, 22 years old, whatever he is. He's just more physically filled out. That's going to be a tough thing for Malawash to handle because he hasn't played someone as physical as Efton Reed yet.
It's actually a kind of another way to look at the stat I brought earlier, and I'll scroll up and find it real quick. The 5 leading scorers for Wake.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure I get the actual number correct. The 5 leading scorers for Wake Forest have 506 career games played combined. The 5 leading scorers for Duke have 155 career games played combined, with 86 of them coming from Tyrese Proctor.
So that's over half.
Over half from one player, and they're still, even with Proctor, 350 games less than Wake. But one way is the experience. The other way is just age. And you've played and coached college sports. I played college sports. I don't know if they did in your weight room. We had the pre and the post picture. As soon as you get on campus, they put you in just your compression shorts. They put you back against a white wall, and you just put your arms at your side and take a picture, like a combine picture. And then they do the same thing after your last hard off-season workout going into your senior year, and they just put them up next to each other. Surprise, your body develops from age 18 to 22 when you get in a weight room with a nutritionist and everything else. There's some man strength that comes in those 4 years. And Wake Forest has a whole bunch of guys that have played 4 or 5 years in college basketball. Duke has 2 of their 4 main contributors, the freshmen, could be high school seniors this year in Cooper Flagg and Kama Malawash, right? Starting the year like young 18, 17 years old. So, yeah, if I'm Wake, I'm setting hard screens all day. I'm having Efton Reed back to the basket, elbows to chests. I'm trying to make this as much of a 1999 New York Knicks game as possible if I'm Wake Forest, and I want to see if these young guys can deal with the physical brutality. Physical brutality. It's been a long time since basketball was described that way. And you know what? And here's my ask for Duke. If Wake does it, don't flop. You can draw fouls. Don't flop. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one!
Out of the box. Comes Stahl. He'll make a play to 2-on-1. Jarvis, he's got Martinuk. Jarvis, Martinuk. He scores! Jordan Martinuk hammers it home.
You know what? Earlier today, we talked about the Canes game last night. 7-4 victory. It's ridiculous. Down 0-2, end of the first period. Storm back 5-2 lead. Give up 2 consecutive, it's 5-4. Score 2 more consecutive, it finishes 7-4. That is I feel like I'm watching the Viking ship at the carnival. Just, back and forth goes the momentum. And I actually think unusual games like that, sometimes it's really hard to take anything tangible away. Dennis, what were your main takeaways, if there is anything that you kind of grasp onto and go, at least we have that?
I will say the biggest thing I took away was when the Canes needed a goal the most, being down 2-0, it was the power play that's been struggling is what got it done. And it was 2 of your star players, too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Jarvis. He had his first career 4-point night. You play beer league hockey. You could have finished that one, right, with where Sebastian Aho placed it.
Hey, don't doubt my inabilities here. All right? Let's call that what it is. But no, it's simple. It's just put your stick on the ice. You can actually tell he just literally just leaned down on his stick, and the only thing Aho had to do was just put it there.
And I'm not taking anything away from Jarvis. First career 4-point night, had a great day. Got the first goal for the Canes and the last goal with the empty netter. Set up his teammates, did a great job. Good job, Jarvis. It did give off vibes of Sandlot, where he's like, just put your glove up and I'll put it there. And Benny the Jet hits a baseball right to the glove. Like, he put his stick down, and Aho said, cool, I'll take care of it from here. Just use you as a backboard. Which I have to remind myself, because Aho did score in this one as well. Assist from Jackson Blake. Something that I think is important because he's been on a bit of a goal-scoring drought. You do have to also remind yourself, like, Sebastian Aho doesn't get credit for the goal that Jarvis scored on the stat sheet, but it's like 90% him, right? He can create goals without being the guy that gets it on the stat sheet, which is important to remind yourself when you're complaining that he has like 1 goal in the last 8 games and none of them in regulation, which is what happened going into last night. Tonight, they're taking on the Islanders, tomorrow, taking on the Islanders. This weekend, before our next show, they're taking on the Islanders, which is I'm gonna put this on you again, Dennis. I'm just gonna put some hockey stuff on you as I usually do. Let me think of the way I want to word this. The Islanders are dead last in the Metropolitan.
Yeah, they stink.
And they are ahead of Buffalo in the Eastern Conference, only ahead of Buffalo in the Eastern Conference as a whole.
Who also stinks.
What's the worry? Right? We need reasons that they're scary. We need reasons not to overlook them, right? I was getting ready to overlook Columbus, and you said, actually, they're better than you think, which is true. But the Islanders, what is Anders Lee scaring you? Is it Horvat? Like, give me the Sorokin and net. What's the surprise? What's the scare for the Islanders?
I don't know. They just signed Tony DeAngelo.
Oh.
There it is. They signed Tony DeAngelo today. 1-year contract for the rest of the year. There it is.
Do you think he can get there and get in the mix by tomorrow?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's been back in the States.
But I did see he has to pass waivers because he played in another professional league, so he's on waivers now. I don't know if the timing is there.
No, I think he does. I think as far as I know, he's good to go.
Interesting.
Because he was a free agent.
Is this mind games from Patrick Waugh?
Maybe.
You've
played the Islanders enough, especially in the playoffs over the last several years. Like, you know this team.
And it's also not like D'Angelo is going over there and being like, here's the system the Canes play.
Oh, really?
It's secret. Nobody knows about this.
They get the puck in deep, and they forecheck.
Their defense is exhausting. They did make the postseason each of the last 2 seasons, so it's not like you're playing a team with absolutely no anything going for them. But I don't know if we could really stretch it to make them a super scary opponent. Canes should take care of business, even though it's on the road up there in the north.
Just go get 2 points.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Maybe
they'll come home with Brock Nelson.
You want to make a prediction there?
No.
33 years old. He is a forward that can do some scoring. He's on an expiring contract. You don't want to make any predictions there?
No, not yet.
All right. I'll give you the opportunity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab our numbers game contestants, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Folks, it's back. It's your chance to win, and it's better than ever. Who wants to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle? Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint, they're all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Just go to caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this absolutely beautiful motorcycle. I've seen it before. By the way, if you actually want to see it in person, just go to Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. It's right here in Raleigh. It's where I bought my motorcycle. It's there. Just go check it out. Custom painted, custom built, Canes colors, Canes logos, white wall tires, gorgeous motorcycle, and you can win it by going to caniacsbike.com. The deadline is April 6th to enter. The bike will be given away on the last home game of the season, but don't wait, Canes fans. Go to caniacsbike.com for your chance to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
We need some numbers game contestants here for the Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. The prize for today's numbers game that I like to remind everybody about is a pair of tickets to see Shinedown at Lenovo Center on August 21st for their Dance Kid Dance Tour with special guests Bush and Morgan Wade. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10, or actually they were on sale this morning at 10, but so you can go buy them right now, or you could try to win them by calling in and being one of our numbers game contestants. 919-860-5326. That is the number to call. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
They interviewed 17 candidates in Chicago. They really did leave no stone unturned in this search. They wanted to make sure that they spoke to as many people as possible. And Ben Johnson interviewed with other places too. The Jags, the Raiders, the Patriots. They mutually decided on one another. And I think this is a home run hire for the Chicago Bears.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to understand our history. It goes back 60 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds only to high-end jewelers. Then eventually the wholesalers started selling direct to the public, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values are the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. Our warranties and guarantees are rock solid. And our people are laser focused on helping you find the diamond of your dreams. We invite you to experience a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Showroom hours, directions, and more online at DiamondsDirect.com. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics. And proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. And the best part is, you don't have to traverse the inner city traffic. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Together, let's drive.
Hey, Greater Triangle area. Chick-fil-A wants to invite you to enjoy a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit or sandwich on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us through January 25th to get your reward for a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit from open to 10:30 a.m. or Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich from 10:30 to close by downloading and signing in to your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle area. Valid at participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurants only. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single use only. Limit one per person per Chick-fil-A One account. See further details in the app.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. As always, we have two contestants, and they'll be battling it out with jersey numbers in order to win a prize. Somebody will walk away with a pair of tickets to see Shinedown at the Lenovo Center, the Lenny, on August 21st, part of their Dance Kid Dance Tour with special guests Bush and Morgan Wade. Tickets were on sale earlier today, but either Everett and Raleigh or David and Willow Springs will win them. Everett, you are up first to answer a question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, see who goes first. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The question is, what are you looking forward to most about the upcoming weekend? It is a Friday, so what are you looking forward to? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
I would have to say that's a great question.
Thank you.
I would say anything Carolina basketball related. They just got a big pickup last night from a power forward through recruiting, so that was big news. Wish he could suit up right now, but that's not going to be the case. But, anything Carolina. I'm not sure if they play this weekend. Don't know the schedule, but hopefully they could bring in more recruits. But, anything Carolina related. I know that's very broad, but.
Well, I'll give you what you're looking forward to then. You're talking about Caleb Wilson, 5-star, who committed yesterday, and they do play Boston College tomorrow. So there's the game you're looking forward to.
Yep.
All right.
Get the words out of my mouth.
There you go. We'll see if that answer holds up. The question also was posed to David in Willow Springs, our other contestant. David, what are you most looking forward to about this weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
Well, I should be optimistic about my Wolfpack tomorrow, but I'm more looking forward to the NFL playoffs.
That's fair. Dennis, we have two struggling fans here. We have a UNC basketball fan and an NC State basketball fan, which normally I would be promoting like, all right, we got a rivalry. They're in the numbers game. Let's see who can get the better of the other. But instead, I'm like, I hope these two guys really have some support and can make it through the next couple of games.
Well, well, here's maybe a classic case of where UNC fans are in terms of where their team is. Everett didn't even know his team was playing this weekend. He's like, yeah, UNC basketball, if they're playing, yeah, they are. So I got to go David on this one.
All right. Apathy is worse than anger in a lot of ways.
It really is.
David in Willow Springs goes first. Everett, you'll have your chance. So just go ahead and hold on the line. David, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, I am.
All right, the categories are NFL tasty names, all names that have something to do with food. NFL, not my real name, players that go by a different name than their government name. And there's NBA, players from the 2016 Olympics in Rio, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's go with the NFL food.
All right, NFL tasty names, players whose names are related to food. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Jerry Rice, San Francisco 49ers.
80.
Correct. Dante Culpepper, Minnesota Vikings.
99.
Incorrect. Bubba Franks, Green Bay Packers.
Pass.
Julius Peppers, Carolina Panthers.
90.
Correct. CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
28.
Incorrect. Dante Culpepper, Minnesota Vikings.
9.
Incorrect. Bubba Franks, Green Bay Packers.
I have no idea. 20.
Incorrect. CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys. Dante Culpepper, we would have accepted 11 or 12. Quarterback. Threw a ton of deep touchdowns to Chris Carter and Randy Moss. Bubba Franks, the tight end for Green Bay, number 88. And CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver. It's kind of like number 44 at Syracuse. Like the best wide receiver of a generation for the Cowboys always wears number 88. It was Drew Pearson, Mike Irvin, Des Bryant, and now CeeDee Lamb all wear number 88 for the Cowboys.
Okay.
You got, what was that, 2? You got 2. So we'll stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up as we bring on Everett. Everett in Raleigh is the challenger here. Everett, are you ready to roll?
Sure am.
All right, the categories you get to choose from are NFL, not my real name. These are players that go by a different name than their government name. NBA players from the 2016 Olympics in Rio, or NHL Hurricanes only?
NFL, not my name.
All right, these are all players that, like I said, go by a name that is other than their official name. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you do need it. You need 3 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys.
10.
Incorrect. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals.
80.
Incorrect. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys.
Pass.
Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
81.
Incorrect. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals.
88.
Incorrect. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys.
5.
Incorrect. Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
82.
Yep. I'm an 0 for is tough, just to get that out of the way. 0. But you were stuck in a trap that a lot of people get stuck in, which I feel like Chris Godwin was a wide receiver, and your brain was telling you wide receivers are in the 80s because that's what it's been for years and years. Number 14, right? Many of the, if it's like a Pro Bowler, they're just moving to lower and lower numbers, which T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Bengals, number 5. And Dak Prescott with the Cowboys, number 4. So, unfortunately, that is a 0, but hopefully you had some fun.
Of course. I always have a good time.
Appreciate it. By the way, Dak Prescott's real name is Rain. T. Higgins' real name with the Bengals is Tom Maurice. And Chris Godwin's real name is Rod. I don't know. I always think it's funny when people have nicknames that are just, I'm sure it's like a middle name or something. I'll tell a quick story. Actually, by the way, let me first congratulate David in Willow Springs. Congratulations, you are the winner.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but I felt like I'm the Buffalo Bills of the 90s.
Oh, well, not anymore. Not anymore because you won.
Yeah.
So you're more like Peyton Manning. Can't win the big one until you do. So appreciate it.
There you go.
Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. There you go. Quick story. I had a buddy I grew up in Hawaii, for those of you that don't know. Somebody with a very Samoan name. Okay, I don't know if he would want me to tell this story, but say it's like Kainoa or something like that. It would be a Hawaiian name. He had a very Samoan name. His last name was very Samoan. His family was very Samoan. He was on my football team, and that was his real name. His family called him Jason. It always struck me as really funny, like a very Samoan name, and he didn't know why. As long as he can remember, like his mom, his grandparents, his dad, they called him Jason. So we were all calling him his real government name, which was a very Samoan name. And then from the stands, you'd hear like, "Come on, Jason," and we're like, "Who are they talking to?" Turns out they were talking to him. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have the conference openers. They were revealed just a little bit ago for the ACC football schedule. So their first conference games, I will give you the teams that we care about, right? The local teams with ties to the area. The first ACC game for NC State will be, and ironically, the first ACC game for Wake Forest as well, will be NC State at Wake Forest. It will come on September 11th of this upcoming season. That is week 3. So their conference schedule will start week 3, NC State at Wake Forest. Let's find Duke here. Duke will also open with NC State. That is Duke versus NC State week 4. Duke will be home against State week 4. That is Saturday, September 20th. And where's UNC won't get their conference schedule started until week 6. They will be, along with Miami, the last to get their ACC schedule started all the way in week 6 versus Clemson. Saturday, that is a real late opening conference game. So NC State week 6, UNC week 6 at Clemson will open their schedule. Wake, as I mentioned, part of that opener at home for the Demon Deacons Thursday in week 3. Let me see if there's any other really juicy ones here real quick. These were just released, so I'm learning them at the same time you are. Virginia Tech will open it. Geez, NC State is everyone's opener. This is so Wake Forest opens week 3 at home against NC State. That is Wake Forest's ACC opener. Week 4 in Durham, Duke opens with NC State in their ACC opener. And then week 5 in Raleigh, Virginia Tech opens with NC State in their ACC opener. I don't know if that matters much. I don't know if they're more likely to get a fastball or anything from those, like their opening conference play, but that is a strange scheduling quirk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That is very weird. But the same is true for Clemson. Clemson is the opener for Georgia Tech, for Syracuse, and for UNC. I don't even know if this is interesting, but it's something I noticed. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, do you have something for the people? Yes, you do.
I do. Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Lock in your touchdown picks. Check out trending parlays and increase your winnings with Profit Boost. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. And unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll wrap things up with making our picks. Send you off into the week with a whole bunch of winners coming up next.
All playoff roads lead to New Orleans.
Playoff football, baby.
The Wild Cards, the championship games, presented by First Horizon Bank and Wake Med, will be heard here.
It's Barkley running to the left. Barkley gets by everybody. Saquon Barkley is gone. Touchdown. 28-15. Philly.
The Triangle's home for Super Bowl 59. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time, and the month of January marks the 45th anniversary of bold flavors, southern hospitality, and all of the timeless classics you get at Triangle Area Bojangles. In 1980, Triarch Food Systems, Inc. opened their first Bojangles in Selma, North Carolina, a welcoming place to come together and enjoy some made-from-scratch goodness. Here's to 45 years, and many more to come. Thank you, Selma. It's always bow time.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here at South Garner High School to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month. And that Scholar Athlete is Samayan Jones.
It means a lot to me because my parents, they want me to do well and make it in life. So this is for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
He's never trying to bring no negative energy, and I feel like that's what makes him a more productive teammate.
My teammates, they encourage me a lot because, I've been through injuries. They cheer me on because 2 games ago was my first time getting back on the court. So they cheer me on, encourage me every day. That's why I keep doing what I do.
He was always there in practice, just cheering us up and just cheering us on for practice, even though he wasn't playing. So that just shows what type of guy he is.
And then I have him in my class, so he's a great student as well. Just last week, one of his real good friends, he's like, Junior's just a good vibe, man. And that's what he is.
Congratulations, Samayan.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone, and even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
1-point game, drifts to the right at 5. Right wing now drives, pulls up for a 15-footer. It's short. Rebound, no good. NC State wins the game on a pinball defensive stop.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That pinball defensive stop is doing quite a bit of work for NC State because that's what won them the Notre Dame game, and without that win, the last 6 games look real rough. Real rough. They're getting SMU over the weekend, tomorrow to be specific, so I assume that'll be a game we'll be choosing here. Every Friday, right about this time, we do the same thing. We make our picks. And Dennis, as always, you set them up. What are we picking today?
All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the college basketball slate.
Why not?
You know what? Let's go. I'm just going to go in order of tip-offs here. Okay? Pretty simple.
That's fair.
All right? Order tip-off. Which has NC State actually tipping off at noon tomorrow at Club Lenovo at the Lenovo Center against SMU. What say you, Tim Donnelly?
SMU.
think I'm with you on this.
It's NC State's not playing good basketball right now. They're playing well enough to be in games. They're not playing well enough to win games. So I think that's what it's going to be. It'll be a close loss. It'll be brutal. In the post-game press conference, they'll be saying, we were 1 or 2 plays away from winning that one. And, that and 1 or 2 more plays would have won you the game. So I'm having a hard time. I will be having a hard time picking them for much moving forward.
All right, next game to tip off in the ACC tomorrow. That's tied locally here. Boston College at North Carolina. That's a 2:15 tip-off in the Dean Dome.
I think Boston College is going to get an angry UNC team that they had nothing to do with angering. It's like, wait, you're mad at them. Why are you dunking on me? Well, because you were on the schedule. I think UNC is going to win. I think they'll win by double figures.
All right, next one on the list.
Are you with me? Are you against me? What are we?
I think I'm just worried about the psyche of North Carolina right now. Like, where are you mentally? Because you talk about the close losses for NC State. The last couple games have been the same way for UNC.
I am right there with you in this respect. If I am Boston College, if I'm their coach, I'm telling them if the first 5 minutes are wildly important. If we can rattle them, completely different game. If they're ahead, I know they just gave up a big lead early in their last game, but I think the early part of this one will be a very, very important deal.
Like you mentioned, that first 5 minutes, if Boston College comes out hot, you can quiet that crowd.
Yep.
Actually, not quiet that crowd, anger that crowd.
True.
Which actually might be worse.
I was going to say, then just realize that the names they're yelling aren't towards you, it's towards their own team.
Right? All right, next one. This is a 4:30 tip-off at the Joel in Winston-Salem. Number 2 Duke Blue Devils at Wake Forest. 2 of the top teams in the ACC. Wake 7-1 in the conference. Duke 8-0. The lone remaining unbeaten in the ACC.
I think it is one of the closer games for Duke, but Duke wins. So, I mean, one of the closer games for them. I think it's an 8 to 12 point win for Duke. But I think Wake, gives them a legit scare, which is something that I think it will be good for Wake as far as reputation and good for Duke as far as, learning some lessons about close games.
All right, let's go to the ice. The Carolina Hurricanes on the road tomorrow, taking on the New York Islanders. Islanders stink. Canes don't.
Yes. All right, I'm going to make 2 predictions here. One, the Canes win, probably by 2 goals. Right, I'll go like 4-2. I think Piotr's going to play well. The other prediction is, I think at the end of the first period, the Canes are losing 1-0.
Okay. Bold prediction. Canes don't score in the first.
Yeah.
Actually, the bold prediction, Canes score multiple goals in the first period.
Are you making that prediction?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you the bell. Congrats.
Thank you. By the way, that's a 7:30 game tomorrow, so people that want to tune in to listen, 7 o'clock Storm Watch without a goal tomorrow, by the way.
All right, very cool.
Just make sure everyone is aware of it.
Take note.
Take note on that one. All right, let's go ahead and shift focus, sir, over to Sunday. We have a couple big NFL games. First one, we have an NFC clash. NFC East rivalry matchup, Tim. We have the Washington Commanders and the young upstart Jaden Daniels, new head coach, taking on a team that was in the Super Bowl just a couple years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, the spread in this one, the Eagles are actually favored at home, -6. So they're 6-point favorites at home. Again, 3 o'clock game.
I do think it's cool that they're having a division rivalry game in the NFC Championship. That's kind of swagged out for the division. I think Philly wins. I think it's ugly. I think it's gross. Do we know what the weather's going to be in Philly this weekend? I just think cold weather plays into Philly's hands. I think that running game is really, really good. I think Philly wins. I don't think it's outlandish. I think it's 28-17, maybe 28-21, something like that. But Philly wins.
Let's see. Weather factor here. I'm actually pulling it up here on the old AccuWeather this weekend.
Oh, so you're a meteorologist, big Doppler radar guy over here.
Well, I just, sometimes I read the weather. That's really about it. No, it's actually, it's not updating for me. There's that. Actually looking like Sunday high 39, sunny, or like partly cloudy. That's really it. So it's just cold. That's
All
really
right.
about it.
Fair.
And then we have Sunday, the 6:30 kickoff, right here on 99.9 The Fan. You have the Kansas City Chiefs at home, 2-point favorites against the Buffalo Bills. Whether or not a factor, it's just going to be cold.
I set rules for myself in gambling so I don't overthink things. One of them is you don't pick against Mahomes.
That's generally a smart thing.
It's done me well over the years, although they don't cover very often. Don't pick against Mahomes to win. You can pick against them against the spread. They're favored by 1.5.
It's up to 2 now.
It's up to 2.
It's up to 2.
Oh, well, now that's the difference. No, I picked the Chiefs. I mean, they win. And you know what I like doing with the Chiefs in the postseason? If they get down 7 or 10 early in the game, we're talking like, probably early in the second or earlier, I live bet the heck out of them to come back because you just know it's going to happen. And you feel dumb when it does, and you're like, I didn't even bet on it. So, yes, the Chiefs are my pick. Dennis? Actually, I don't even know. Did you give an NFC pick?
I think the Eagles win it. I want Washington to win, but I think the Eagles win that one. Again, an ugly one. I hate saying it, but I think I agree with you on this one. I think the Chiefs win it, but man, do I want the Buffalo Bills to win. I want Bills-Washington. That's what I want.
Bills-Washington?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
That'd be fun. Why wouldn't it?
One, I think Buffalo rocks them. But I think Philly and the Chiefs, they had an all-time Super Bowl like 24 months ago, and now nobody wants it. It was an unbelievable game.
It
was an unbelievable game.
Seen it already.
Run it back. Quickly here. Here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. It's back. We talk a lot about winning. I have something that you have a chance to win, and it's better than ever. Who wants to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle? Again, Dennis Cox here for my friends at Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint, they've all teamed up together once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. It's simple, folks. Simple to enter. Just go to caniacsbike.com. Again, caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this absolutely beautiful bike. You'll see the picture of the bike right there. Just go enter and win it. You don't have to necessarily win it and ride it yourself. You can gift it to, your favorite radio producer who also happens to have their own motorcycle. You can do whatever you want with the bike. But it's your chance to win if you go to caniacsbike.com. Deadline to enter is April 6th, with the bike being given away on the last home game of the year. But just don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com and enter for your chance to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
I'm not a motorcycle guy, but it is sharp. Like you appreciate it regardless.
I might see if I can test ride it.
Yeah, you probably should. We might be able to make that happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close, but Overdrive is up next, and UNC basketball fans, got a conversation coming up for you. So stick around for that. And those of you that want to laugh at UNC, there's a wider array of people that could enjoy it. We'll be back on Monday. Follow our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Enjoy Overdrive. Enjoy all the sports this weekend. Have a great weekend.
The Adam Gold Show.
College sports is undergoing so many changes these days. From the economics to the number of games these guys play, the travel. What we need in college sports